Thank you. Mac, what up? Place I know you wanna go. The trap's at, bro. Thank you. There's another one. Boom, 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 boom. A little hunt progress. So fun. Charles, what up? What is good? Free leather. Free leather, of course. I've been at this shit for hours. You're crate farming, bro? You're crate farming, bro? Is it fun? Crate farming is so good, but so boring, for sure. It's really good. It's really easy, but it's also just... Yeah, it's definitely not the most engaging form of content, so... Understandable. Understandable. Black mold brain rot. Yeah, it's I think anytime I've done crate farming, I've done maybe like 8 crates max. I think was the most I ever did when I tried to do it. I did like 8 max, and I was like, wow, this is... I think I'd rather just like queue low MMR arena. I think I'd rather suffer and queue low MMR than do that. But it depends. Like, I think it's easy. I think it's chill to do every now and then. If you're on a character and you don't want to do like the full grind, you know? But doing it straight up to get full conquest is mind-numbing. Cool how you gear for PvP in the least PvP way possible. Yeah. It is one of the ways. It is one of the ways. Bro, how many traps do I need? I swear I've done... There we go. Love how you encounter an ally raid. What are you saying? Yeah, you exactly. You can't even do anything because it's super laggy. And then what the best part about it is you just find a different server. You just go to a different layer because it's more efficient. Just go to a different layer. I feel like what they should have done, since they made war mode gear suck, which I'm not upset about at all. I think that's fine. I feel like what they should have done is they should have done a chest, just like they did in Dragonflight, if you remember. Or no, was it last expansion? Was it War Within? Which fucking thing is War Within, dude? Where are we going? Kazalgar. Yeah, so the chest that they had in this place, in Ash-Kahet, it was a chest that would give you, like, conquest and shit, and, like, a chance to get a socket. They should just make that a daily thing. Where if you go and kill this chest, you get a bunch of honor and conquest. You know? I feel like that would make World PvP way more exciting. It's just an all-day thing. Kind of like Gurubashi Arena, you know? It's just an all-day thing. You can do this chest every 3 hours or something, or even make it even faster. Make it every 2 hours. I don't know. Keep the crates a thing, but like make this event where you could actually, you know, PvP for it. I think that'd be interesting. John Strickland, bro, we don't even want to talk about that shit, dude. What's going on, man? Jesus Christ, man. Is Sean... Fuck Sean Strickland, first of all. Fuck him. But... is he just the GOAT, dude? Like, is Sean Strickland just the fucking GOAT? Like, is that what's going on? I guess he is. I guess he is. Alright. It's fried. Fucking fried, bro. What was that, dude? Oh my god. My buddy Mr. Rax. You know what he did? He decided to put a parlay up. He decided to have a little 3-leg. You wanna know who he picked? It should have been a for sure thing. Volkov, Joshua Van, and then Hamzat was the third leg to win. Because obviously Hamzat's gonna win, right? Like, it's gonna be a for sure thing. Nope. Unlucky. Yeah, it was a good fight. It was definitely a good fight. It was really fun to watch. Just surprising. Just fucking surprising. But I guess, like, you really never know what'll happen. You never know what'll happen. Nothing is a for sure thing, man. Nothing is ever a sure fucking thing, dude. Ever. Yeah, I don't think Sean Strickland looked the greatest, but Hamzat definitely, yeah, I would agree with that. He was like, he just looked off. Maybe it was the weight cut. I mean, he had to cut what, fucking 45 pounds or something. I feel like we got to figure that out. I feel like if we're having to cut 45 pounds to fight, we probably should not be fighting at middleweight. Probably shouldn't be fighting at middleweight if you have to cut, you know, a quarter of your body weight. Probably not the best. Yeah, the Joshua Van fight was Van fight was fucking sick, dude. That was really surprising. Like I didn't think it would be a bad fight, but it was definitely better than I thought it was gonna be. MMA is washed. Good old MMA. Good old MMA, bro. The UFC just doesn't have any, like... It's just not the same now. It's just not the same. And I can't tell if it's because of the people or the company or both. I feel like I have no investment to a lot of fighters now. Like, I've been watching MMA and I've been watching the UFC since I was like 9. And I feel like I just have I really don't have any investment with a lot of these fighters. Not to say that I don't like certain people, you know, or like I won't watch the fights, but I just don't. I feel like I'm not as diehard as I used to be for a number of reasons. But I do feel like, I don't know, when it comes to the fighters specifically, it just feels... eh. Yeah, the match was definitely good. Definitely good. It's always funny to see, though. Whenever you have close fights, it's always funny because people start freaking out. No matter what, it's always people freaking out about whether it's a fucking... Whether it's a robbery or whatever. But definitely good. Good night overall. The Bobby Green fight was lit too. King Green, bro. Did he get his bonus that he was talking about? I didn't look. Which healer would you recommend playing in PvP? First time healing? Play a dragon, dude. Or play like a holy priest. Or disc priest. Need Connor? I mean, dude, McGregor is like a just a coked out predator and has been for like years now, right? That guy's never fighting, bro. When is that guy ever fighting? Ever. How long has it been since bro, how long has it been since they did the Ultimate Fighter where him and fucking Chandler were supposed to coach? They coached and then they were supposed to fight. Wasn't that like 6 years ago, dude? Holy shit. 5 years, yeah. That guy's never fighting again, bro. Holy fuck. Oh, Van got the bonus? Damn. See, that's another thing too, like, okay. It's a little too early. But you know what? It's early. We're gonna have our chats. I'm gonna speak my mind a little bit. That's another thing with the UFC too, and they've been like this for years, but it's definitely gotten worse. The UFC at this point is the same as every other fucking bullshit corporation, dude. Like you guys, you're telling me that they used to do bonuses for finishes. They used to just do bonuses for finishes, and they would do multiple fight bonuses. Like a bunch every night, especially if it was a good night. And now it's like, they're so stingy on their bonuses, bro. They just made billions of dollars with this Paramount deal, and they're like, oh, I don't know, should we give 50K to our fighters? Should we give a 50K bonus? They just made billions, by the way. It's like, oh, should we give them bonuses? And they've been like this for years, too. It's like, it's so cringe, bro. I think that's part of it, too. Like, I actually just don't like the company. And I think that's part of why, like, as a fight fan, I've watched less and less over the years. There's just, I don't know. There's a bunch of things. But that's one of them, too. Like, it's crazy that years ago, that's how they would do it, right? They would always give bonuses and shit. And then now they've been more and more stingy over the years. Another thing too is just like every other fucking money hungry company, they literally. So I don't know how long you guys have been watching fights. I've been watching since I was, let's see, I'm gonna turn 31. Guys, I turned 31 in 4 days. Holy shit, my birthday's in 4 days. Shout out me. I've been watching UFC since I was 9, I think. Probably like 8 or 9. Because I used to watch like UFC Unleashed and stuff. And like some of the fights and like highlights and stuff with my dad. So probably around there. So you guys, if you don't remember, if you're newer, or maybe you don't remember if you watched for a long time, they used to never give you ads on the main card. Ever. And slowly but surely over the last like 5 years, 6 years, they literally spam your ass with ads during the fucking main event, dude. During the main card and the fucking main event, they're spamming you with ads. It is the most disgusting shit ever, and it makes me so mad. I'm very passionate about it, if you can't tell. It makes me very upset. It's very upsetting. Like, you're trying to... Like, they used to... So what they used to do is, between all the... Yo, James, happy early birthday, man. Between all the fights, or between the rounds, like, you would always have the coach's cam and shit. Like, you'd have the coach's cam, you'd hear the corner... You'd hear the corner, and you'd hear their, like, the dialogue with the corners on what there's, like, what they're coaching between rounds and shit. And, like, even between fights, they wouldn't just spam you with ads. They would show you highlights of the night or highlights of the fight that's about to happen. And they would just play that over and over. And then they would discuss it. Nope. The last 5, 6 years or so, they have slowly... they've slowly incorporated more and more ads into the broadcast. It's so disgusting, dude. It's so fucking disgusting. And that is why, once again, as you can tell, I'm very passionate about it. That is why that's another one of the reasons that the company is kind of annoying, and I'm not, I think, as big of a fight fan as I used to be. Because it's like, you're going to tell me that you can't give your fighters a fucking 50,000 bonus for finishing a fight when you're literally spamming us with ads. Every fucking chance you get, you are spamming us with ads. And you can't afford to give 50,000 bonuses anymore? It's disgusting, bro. It's fucking disgusting. And it pisses me off. And that's it. Thanks for Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk there. Did you ever used to want to be Royce Gracie? No. I liked my favorite fighters early on. I've always loved Anderson Silva. Love Anderson Silva. When he got knocked out by Chris Weidman. By the way, when Chris Weidman got his fucking Hall of Fame thing yesterday, I actually was close. I literally stopped watching because not anything against him, but like they kept showing the fucking Anderson Silva knockout and it pissed me off. Because I watched that fight. That was one of the first pay-per-views that we bought, and it like broke my heart, dude. It actually broke my fucking heart. I was so sad. But all the early fighters, like I loved watching. Like I liked Rashad Evans. I liked Frankie Edgar. I loved Anderson Silva, BJ Penn, Chuck Liddell. I never wanted to be Royce Gracie though. It'll be your birthday. Have you ever played any sport? Believe it or not, yes. Yep, GSP was up there. What's your opinion on voice slivers? I wish they were warbound. I used to play, I played soccer up until I was 18. I played basketball up until like 16 or so. I mean, I still hoop every now and then, but like I used to hoop with friends in the neighborhood and shit like that always, but as far as playing like on a team, yeah, I played soccer till I was like 18, basketball, same thing. I played indoor. So I played in a travel league. I played indoor during winter. I was always outside when I was younger. Like as a kid growing up, I was always outside. Obviously now people look at me and I'm, you know, you would think that I'm this huge fucking nerd that has never done anything athletic ever. But that is not the case, believe it or not. I was always outside. I was a very oh, do you not get like the weird arena with this one? Interesting. I was a huge closet nerd. Like, nobody knew I played WoW. Like, none of my friends or anything. Except for, like, my best friend growing up. Because me and his brother and him played. Like, none of my friends growing up, outside of him, knew I played WoW. Until I was, like, 18. Like, nobody knew. Like, everyone knew I played games. Like, I played Call of Duty. Obviously, like, I played Modern Warfare 2 and shit with friends in school. Like, all the games that were considered cool, you know? So, like, everyone loves Smash Bros. And stuff, like all the Nintendo games. But PC games, PC games back then were definitely looked at as, like, the nerdy shit. So, nobody knew I played WoW. Like, I never wanted to tell anybody. I never told anyone I played WoW up until, I think it was my senior year of high school. When, my friends were asking why, like, I always dodge hanging out, and then I was like, yeah, I'm just a nerd. Like, I play this game all the time, and like that's when I was like pushing rank 1 and shit too for the first time. So I was like, yeah, I play this game, and I like play, you know, top rating, whatever. Yeah. Vlad, what up? Competing in the AFC is very athletic. Exactly, it actually is. But yeah, I was always outside. I was always outside. Like, I played games all the time too. Like, my family was very into playing games. Like, that was kind of our thing. Every family has their thing. That was kind of our bonding. Like, we played a lot of like Nintendo games together. We played a lot of like we played a lot of board games, and then board games that you could play on the console we would play. Like, my mom loved trivia stuff, so we'd play, like, trivia games on the PlayStation. You know, we'd play Smash Bros, Mario Party, Kirby Air Racers, or Air Gliders, whatever it was called. Stuff like that. So, I was always playing games as a kid, and, like, I've played WoW since it came out. But I was also outside all the time, too. Like, if I wasn't outside, I was playing games, and if I wasn't playing games, I was outside. Pretty much is how that went. The fuck is this? Oh, chase your prey. This is interesting. Shitting on this guy. Okay, that was interesting. Was this just one of the Prey World quests? I've never done that one. That was weird. I didn't hide my WoW play much, but other MMOs I did. Damn. Yeah, I definitely did not tell anyone about WoW. I had one friend in school that knew I played WoW, and he also played WoW, and the only reason he knew, is because, like I said, I was a huge closet nerd. So I was like 12, I think. I think this was like 7th grade. I think it was like the first week of 7th grade. And on my school, like, you remember how you get the school journals? You get your little school journal that has like your schedule and shit. So I had that written on that. I had something about WoW. Like, I wrote something in marker and like drew something about WoW because I think that was Wrath. And then, like, I had my notebook open one day, and he saw it, because he sat next to me. And he was like, you play WoW? And, dude, even as a kid, like, I still remember that feeling where, like, my heart sunk. And I was like, holy fuck. He fucking exposed me, dude. He knows. But then he also played. So it wasn't bad. But, yeah, definitely a huge closet nerd. Always played games, but always was outside. Like, I hooped all the time. Play street hockey, soccer. Like I said, till I was 18. We play football at like my buddy's house too, or like go to the park and stuff. So yeah, it's funny. You know what's funny about that? What's really funny about that is, yeah, WoW took over my life as well. Don't worry. After high school, um, I watched this TikTok the other day of this guy who was like, he was saying the whole purpose, the whole premise of it was he was saying that he didn't know that people just weren't how do you word it? He was talking about how he didn't understand that general, just like people in general aren't athletic. Like not everyone you're gonna meet is just like knows how to run or something. And I've never thought about that, but I watched that video and it was really funny. And he was explaining how like people just don't know how to like they don't know how to run. Like you could go up to some random person and be like, "Hey," like try to race them, and they literally don't know how to run. And it's like, how the fuck do you not know how to run or like speed walk? Like, is that not normal? Like some people they don't know how to throw. Like, I don't know. So it's funny that you bring that up because I notice that now. Like I'm definitely not like I'm like not fucking super in shape at all. But anytime I go and do things, like I still got it, you know? Like I'll go hoop and like I can still make shots. I can still dribble a little bit. Not that I was like crazy good or anything in general when I was a kid, but like if I go to the park and I hoop a little bit, like I can still dribble, I can still kind of shoot, I can still make shots. I'm not shooting fucking 60%, but you know, I'm not shooting 0 either. But yeah, there's just people that they literally don't know how to like they don't know how to do things. So you can dribble is not a flex? I'm not flexing at all. I think you're misunderstanding. I can throw something at you. Okay. Did they buff Shami yet? They did. What I'm saying is not a flex. What I'm saying is the fact that there are literally people that don't know how to like. You can give somebody a basketball and to ask them to dribble, and they'll literally look like a newborn baby, dude. It's like they actually just they don't know how to do anything. It's weird. That was what I was saying. I didn't play in high school. I had my travel league that I played, and then I quit when I was in, I think, my junior year. I didn't want to play on the high school team because I, like I said, was a huge WoW nerd. Like I basically gave like the bare minimum effort in sports. Like once I was around 15 or 16, I was just minimum effort. Like I started playing way more WoW. Cuz I think that was when was that? Kata? I think that would have been around Kata. And yeah. I definitely just put in minimum effort. Like I would go to practice, give it my all, come back home, play WoW all night. Play WoW all night, play other games. Like I'd go to the games and like I would skip out on different practices too, like bonus practices and shit. Like extra practices that my friends would do. They would try to get me to go and I'm like, yeah, I can't. I'm busy today. And then I would just play WoW all day until I quit, which was when I was like, yeah, 18. Was? Well, yeah, I was. I was a huge closet nerd. Not anymore. I don't care if people know I play games now. What do you think WoW's player age is? Average age? I have no idea. 75. Should IRL stream you throwing that football over the mountains? Should I, dude? Should I throw a fucking football, dude? I'll probably throw my shoulder out at this point. When you don't do something for a while, man, it takes a while to come back, I think. I think throwing, kicking, all that stuff, it's definitely not like riding a fucking bike. Definitely not. Definitely not. Holy shit. Like, it's kind of there, but it takes a while to come back. It takes a little bit to come back. Like, I told this yesterday. I was fucking shadow boxing in my room, and I was trying to throw kicks. Keep in mind, I haven't thrown kicks probably since I was like 13 or 14 with a little bit of kickboxing. And it was bad. Like, I was getting secondhand embarrassment from myself. It was bad. It was very uncomfortable. It was a rough time. Yeah, definitely not the same. But still moving. Still schmoving. The fuck? Oh wait, I don't even need these. Yeah, it just takes time. It takes time to get back to it all. Definitely get sore faster, yeah. You just gotta get used to it again. Couldn't get any of my IRL buds to play WoW. Only got my dad into it. Damn. Yeah, my best friend growing up played it, but none of my other friends ever wanted to play WoW. They literally still, like, my friends from school that I've known since literally the first day of freshman year of high school, still to this day make fun of me for playing WoW. Like, it's, I mean, that's what friends are for, right? And that's what friends are for, dude. Like, I've known them literally since I was 14, and they still make fun of me for playing WoW. And when I tell them that, like, I'm gonna go stream, they're like, oh, you're gonna work, huh? You're gonna work. Yeah, you're gonna play games. Like, they still do that to me. It's been, I don't know, how many years have I full-time streamed, and they still do the same shit. It's like, bro. And that's just how it is. Your friends make fun of you for a hobby and your job that's kind of fucked up. That's what friends are for, man. It's all unserious. It's not like I go hang out and they fucking, and they go make fun of me for an hour straight. They're all very jealous in the best, most positive way. Ah. I have a couple of friends that are extremely uncoordinated with their bodies. Tried teaching them how to barbell row in the gym. Big mistake. That's what I was saying, man. Like, there's literally people out there that don't know how to run. That don't know how to fucking run, dude. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine, like, if you had to catch the bus, and you and your buddy had to go catch the bus, and you take off running, and you look back, and they're doing that shit where, like, you see that trend? The trend that's been going around a couple of years where, like, you run with the same arm and leg? That's what they look like. It's like, how? Like, how did you never learn how to run, dude? How did you never learn how to, like, just essentially just walk really fast? It's weird. They're jealous you're not spending time with them anymore? That actually is part of it, yeah. It's fine. All my friends are dads now, man. They can never do shit. They can never do shit. One of my buddies is like, yeah, I can only hang out, like, in the afternoon on Sundays. And it's like, okay, dude, whatever. Because he's full-time dad, man. Works, and then when he's not working, he's taking care of his daughter. That's just how it is. You being ableist? It's true. I can't be ableist. I've been disabled multiple times. It's terrible. It's fucking terrible. Terrible. Never would wish it upon anybody. It's awful. Even now I'm fucking injured. My elbow's fucked up. It's annoying. Now I gotta do everything that's super light at the gym. It's so annoying. Oh shit, we're done. Guys, MDI starts in 32 minutes. I can't wait to watch everyone die. It's gonna be sick. How old are you? 30. I turned 31 in 4 days, though.
Busting makes me feel good. Busting makes me feel good.
Yo, Eric, thank you for the sub, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, my elbow's always giving me issues. I think just because a lot of WoW, a lot of gaming, not enough stretching and taking care of myself. Because it's my right elbow, so like my mouse arm, and the way that I've rested my arm for so many years has slowly fucked up my elbow. So now I have to stretch every day. I stretch my wrist and my shoulder and my arm every day, and it's a great time. A great time. Yeah, thank you for the Prime sub, man. Rub it in your friend's face. All right, I'll let him know. Actually, will I'll let him know. Got a Prime sub off of you guys. Nice. I'm getting more Void Light Marls, dude. Unlimited Void Light Marls. Archman gave me a chronic knee injury starting in high school. Holy fuck, that sucks. How's that embarrassing, dude? Hanging out over 30 feels like, hey, does 2 to 3 p.m. on the week, 2 to 3 p.m. on Thursday, the week of the 20th, work for you? No, that's actually how it is. You know it's bad. You know it's bad when, dude, my friend. I mean, to be fair though, he's always like this. But one of my buddies, the one that is, the one with the kid. Where am I going? After like a week and a half of trying to, or like 2 weeks of trying to schedule something, we finally got something scheduled. We're gonna go out to get lunch, and then maybe like fucking do something else after. And on the day of, I think super early morning on the day of, with something that he scheduled and he was strict on the time for, he was the one telling us, oh, can you guys make 11? And it's like, bro, what the fuck? What do you mean? You're the one that fucking planned this. And he's like, oh, can you guys show up at 11 instead of 12? And it's like, bro, you're the one planning this. How are you going to tell me the day of that, like, now this time doesn't work for you when you planned it? I was still sleeping, too. Because I think he texted us at, like, fucking 8. I woke up at 9. And it's like, yo, can you guys make it an hour earlier? And that's just how it is, man. You actually can't schedule shit when you get older. Everyone's busy at all times. I miss the days of just showing up, you know? I miss the days where you would just show up to a spot. Like, there was so many days in school where, like, my friends would literally just text me, like, yo, we're on the way. And then they would come over, and we'd just go drive somewhere. We'd just go somewhere. And it's like, all right. Not like that anymore, though. What is this? Oh, is this the chase bullshit? Okay. Bro. That's fucking stupid. I wanted to get the speed buff. Alright, let's go. We're owning, dude. Look at us go. One more, dude. All right. The no phone? Well, even with phones, like, just... we would just show up. Maybe no plans for the day. Let me check my calendar. Yeah, that works for me. Why is that? Why is this so different now? Why does no one want to do anything? What changed? I guess it's also expensive as fuck to do things, dude. You have to get lunch, 30 bucks. Oh, you want to go get a drink and a snack? $30. Are entertainments in your pocket? Yeah, I mean there are a bunch of studies that show that the phone is fucking everything up, right? There's no point. There's no going out of your way to get some dopamine because you have your phone. You're right. One thing I've been trying to do lately is I've tried really hard in the mornings to not look at my phone. So like when I wake up in the morning, I try really hard to not look at my phone and scroll or anything for like the first hour or so of the day. So I get up. Like normally every day I'll get up. Obviously I'll look at my phone for like a second just in case, you know, like an emergency text or something. And then I will put on some music and then I'll kind of just start the day. I don't look at my phone. Like I don't lay there and like scroll forever. I don't check a lot of stuff. I try really hard to stay off my phone the last like 3 weeks or so to not do that. Where I'm getting this like crazy dopamine, like this crazy hit of dopamine in the first hour of the day because I'm like scrolling nonstop, and then for the rest of the day. And I actually have noticed that I've noticed that it definitely has an impact on my days. Like the days where I wake up and I scroll for like an hour, hour and a half, the rest of the day sucks. Like nothing, the rest of the day, I have no motivation to do anything. Nothing is exciting to me. I just want to rot. But when I'm not doing that, I immediately notice when I don't do that. And I just kind of start the day. I'm a lot more excited to do things. Like the day is, it's a lot more of an intriguing day. When you go to the gym, I go to the gym in the mornings. I don't like going to the gym at night. Guys, MDI in 25 minutes. We went to Olive Garden yesterday. 4 of us. Bill was 120. 120 at Olive Garden? The fuck? There's mornings that the rod just feels right. I mean, you're not wrong. Sometimes it is nice. If it's like raining or something too. Scrolling's like drugs? Yeah, it is. It actually is, dude. One of the worst drugs around. And start? I mean, yeah, people will go crazy on social media, man. Especially people that you know from like back in the day. You see that what they're saying. If I'm gonna do a scroll, I'm not doing it for free. Ah, there you go. Do it at work. There you go. Perfect. 4 hours at the arcade. Dude, I went to the arcade. When did I go to the arcade? I think a couple weeks ago now. I went out. Game night with the buds. We went to an arcade. And I think I paid like $40. And I got to play like 7 games or something. How the fuck is that possible? Like yeah, the arcade is also bullshit now too. I don't know what's going on with that. Where like if you pay like $20, you play like 3 games. You get like 3 games. It's like, all right, you're fucked. Yeah, disgusting, bro. Shit is disgusting. And then I couldn't even play the game I wanted, which I wanted to play the Connect 4, like the basketball Connect 4, and I couldn't even play that because these other fuckers were hogging it the whole time. And then there's a line, because it's so popular, there was literally a line to play the basketball Connect 4. So fried. Yeah, the phones are terrible, man. We don't like the phones. Yeah, I like going to the gym in the morning. I like starting my day with the gym in the morning. I've gone on and off since I was 18 or 19. And now I'm finally fully committed. Most I've ever been. I've gone for 8 months now. No breaks, except for when I got sick after New Year's. And yeah, I like going in the morning. I don't like going at night. I used to do nighttime. Like, I've had a bunch of different schedules, bunch of different splits over the years. On and off. And at one point, I was going, like, full degen. Like, I was full degen. I was staying up till 6 in the morning. Obviously, you know, playing WoW. So I'd wake up late. I'd wake up at 2 p.m. I'd get up. I'd you know, start the day, probably go get something to eat, and then I would stream and play WoW. And then I would stop at around like 1 a.m. and I'd go to the gym because my gym was 24 hours. So I'd stop at like 1, I'd go to the gym, and then I'd come back. So I was on the full-on degen schedule, going to the gym at fucking 1 in the morning where there's nobody there but me. And at first, I kind of convinced myself that I liked it. I was like, oh, this is nice. There's nobody here. But it's actually just kind of depressing. And then obviously I'm not getting any fucking sun. So that lasted a few months, and then I quit again. And yeah. I like going in the morning. Morning is I basically go to the gym now. Like I go to the gym now like 6 days a week. It's fun. It's honestly not to be like, you know, stereotypical gym bro, but like it's literally the only thing that gives me happiness. Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. The gym is the only thing that I look forward to. The gym is the only thing I look forward to doing every single day. It's the only thing. Not to say that I don't like going live and talking to you guys and hanging out. I do. But I would say, like, consistently, it's just my routine now. Wow, it's bad for your mental? Only if you're playing shuffle. Only if you're playing some fucking solo shuff. Used to be a morning gym before work and was super consistent with it. Then I moved to a place that if I go in the morning, I get stuck in rush hour traffic. Oh, that sucks, dude. That sucks. Yeah, I love going in the mornings. Fuck. Being stuck in traffic is terrible, though. Yeah, it's easy to do once you have a routine for sure. Mythic Plus been fun, yeah. I've enjoyed Blitz and like doing the random stuff in WoW. Like keys and every now and then are chill. Yeah, guys, make sure you say happy Mother's Day to your moms. To your mamas. Now that's gaming. Yeah, I used to go hard, man. Back in the day, I play all the time. You know when you work out too hard the first time going back and you have crazy DOMs? The first like week or two back in the gym, if you haven't lifted in a while, is actually just fucking awful. But you have to just push past it. Chop it up. You have to push past it. And I always find an excuse not to go. Yeah, just do it in the morning. I mean, I can work out in the afternoon too. It's not like I was doing that before I started going to the gym in the morning. But I don't know. I just like the morning more. I feel like it starts my day. I feel like I start my day a lot better. But everyone's different. Everyone's different. Some people like to go late at night. Some people like to go super early in the morning. Some people like to do it after work. Everyone's different. Everyone's different. I definitely like going in the morning, though, just because, I don't know. I feel like I'm up. I feel like I have more time in my day. Everything comes down to me feeling like I have more time to exist and live, usually. That's usually what it comes down to. Like, if I go in the morning, I get up. The fuck? I normally wake up around 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then I'll get out of bed, you know, mentally prep for the day. And then I'll go to the gym. I try to get to the gym at around 9:45 to 10. And then, yeah, I'll work out. And then I will either get something to eat or I'll come home and I'll make something. And then I will eat. And then I'll shower. And then I'll hang out for a little bit. Sometimes I'll go live earlier. That's why sometimes instead of, you know, 9:30 PST, or sorry, instead of 10 a.m. PST, I'm live at 9:30. It just depends. But in general, I like being up earlier. Picking up earlier. You like to eat after the gym? It depends on the vibe. Depends if I get something, if I get a sandwich, if I get some like chicken and rice, if I like some takeout, if I make something. If I make something, I always go with eggs. Just because it's easy. Unless I have leftovers. Like if I have leftover like chicken and rice or something, I'll reheat that. But normally if I'm making something after the gym, eggs are just the easiest thing to do. You smoke or drink? No. Why would I do that? Remember you told the story of your go-to breakfast during COVID? Oh, Loey, thank you for the 60 stream watch streak. You're welcome, Yapatron. I'm not a Yapatron. I was just enjoying the chats. Yeah, I would... Guys, my daily breakfast... Bro, I'm just a fucking tank. Guys, I was getting hammered during the COVID streams, and I would go get breakfast. I would wake up. All right? I'd go to the Dunkin'. I'd get a large mocha. I'd get a large iced mocha. And then the McDonald's is right next to it. So I'd swing next to the McDonald's. I'd swing by, go to the McDonald's right next door. And I would get 2 bacon, egg, and cheese bagels, 2 hash browns, and then I'd get hotcakes as well. But I would say most of the time I only got the 2 bagels and 2 hash browns. But I would say probably like a third of the time I'd get hotcakes as well. And then I would eat all of that immediately. And then I would stream. Which I don't know how I ate all that and didn't immediately go to bed after. But yeah, I would eat all that and then I would start streaming. Good times. Good times. PvP streamers are seem more interested in Mythic Plus expansion. Is it because it's fun or arenas in a bad state? I would say it's a mix. Or shit, we gotta start the co-stream. What got to the point that made you want to change? Man, I got fat. Man. I was drunk as fuck one night, and I realized that I actually was just fat. I stepped on the scale. I was like 240. I've never been like a heavy person ever, so that was kind of a shock, I would say. A little bit of a shock to the mental there, where it's like, oh wow, I am fucking 240. I think during that that start of COVID, I probably gained like 45 to 50 pounds in that like 7-month span. Yeah, so it was just not good. It was just not a good time. Not a good time. A lot of drinking, a lot of eating terrible food every day. A lot of overeating as well. So a lot of overeating fast food specifically, and drinking. And yeah, when you do that, it's really easy to just gain a lot of weight. You see the Dr. Foe, the guys outside Blizzard's secret meeting? I did not. I forgot about the secret meeting, though. How tall are you? I'm 6 feet tall. You overcame that light style. No cap, on God. For real, for real. Yo, thanks, dude. The crushing feeling of self-disgust. Yeah. I mean, I'm not hitting 2 fast food spots, like, to get 2 different things. Obviously, I go to Dunkin' for the coffee, bro. I'm not getting McDonald's coffee. No shot, you're shorter. No, you're shorter than Jelly? I'm shorter than Jelly? Wait, what? Sure. If I get new clothes? Some of my clothes definitely were like super tight fitting, that's for sure. It's funny now because like one of the shirts that I got when I was, you know, fat, was my beat up shirt. My beat up shirt is an extra large, and now that shirt is like perfect for me. I can't believe you guys had the whole thing with Jelly no longer being on the move, and then they made Hunter meta for like 3 years straight. Isn't that crazy, bro? Now they want to make Hunter god tier. What's up with that? They hit our team, man. They hit our team. They nerfed Rogue, Shadow Priest, Shaman. Like RPS specifically got nerfed so many times. Shaman got nerfed so many times. Then they buff Hunter to god tier. Disgusting. It's disgusting. All right, MDI starting soon. Prime. It's a sick joke. Is that what you're saying? Yapatron? I went from 170 to 205 or something during the pandemic. Yeah. Good times, good times. I don't even know what I weigh now. I think I'm in the... I think you're going to be mad about Yapatron all day. No, I'm not. I'm currently in the... I'm currently in the body recomp stage of working out, and I'm not going to lie. It definitely has slightly struck my motivation, but I think I'm pushing past it. We're pushing past it. We're pushing past it. So I don't even know what I weigh at this point. I haven't weighed myself in so long. Was never healthier than I was during 2020. All I would sit in my house, work out in my home gym, grilled chicken. Damn, that's sick. Yeah, everyone's different. Some people, nothing changed. Some people became way healthier. Some people went crazy. I was one of those people. I was one of those people. I started to struggle with keeping consistent cues in arena on healers. The constant rebalancing ruins my eye for a certain class. Had a blast of Priest to start. Yeah, you were loving Priest. Priest is still solid, though. I think you should stick with the Priest or maybe just try Dragon for sure. Any tip to find happiness in the game again, or how do you balance fun versus expectation? Well, you already suggested it. The best thing to do is to literally just do something else, man. Take a break. Take a break. Play other stuff. Like, I really think that if I did not start playing Blitz the last 3 weeks or so, I would have been... I would be... In the last month, if I didn't start playing more Blitz, I would probably be extremely emo at the moment. Just, like, spamming Shuffle. Because it's miserable. So, I think just doing other things. Oh, doesn't have fun. I did nothing but eat and play 2v2 for 10 hours a day? Yeah, that's disgusting as well. It all depends. You stay crazy, you don't have to go crazy. Measurement's still a better picture than weight. Well, I know I look different. Like, I definitely look different. I definitely feel different. I also think that I'm developing some body dysmorphia, so that's nice. That's really fun. I have this weird insecurity now, I've noticed, with my forearms. Where... I feel like my forearms are way smaller than they should be. And it upsets me. It's a slight body dysmorphia. Slight body dysmorphia. But you know what? It's just... If it's one thing I judge people on, it's their forearms. Fuck off, dude. Yeah, it's... Slight body dysmorphia. It's fine. In my eyes, I still feel like a fat piece of shit, and that's not the case. That's not the case. But for me, that's how I see myself right now. I'm like, so a little bit of it. But yeah, we're currently in the body recomp phase, which is not very fun. I'm not a fan of the body recomp phase of working out. Not a fan of it. Deirdre, what up? Just do the belly grip jiggle and you won't get body dysmorphia anymore. I actually do. That's what I do. That's what I do. Guys, when I... Okay, this is going to sound a little psychotic. When I'm trying my best to not order food especially when I'm just bored, I will literally just grab my belly and just move. I'll just like jiggle my belly, or like I'll smack my belly a little bit, and it helps keep me motivated. You know, helps keep me in the zone. That's what I do. That's my strat. Like last night, I was definitely gonna order some fucking Pizza Hut, because it was a 2-for-1. It was a BOGO for a PPP. You get 2 personal pan pizzas for 1, and I was definitely gonna do that, even though I didn't need to because I already was done for eating for the day. But I didn't. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Yo, Naily, I think with a resub. 13 months. You whisper to yourself, good boy, while you're doing it? No, I'm kind of a spaz. I just make a lot of weird noises. And yeah, I'm pretty weird. I ate the PPP squared and Cinnies and passed out for 2 hours. Yeah, that's good. Did you demonstrate? Nope. What poisons does Asa run? Don't you just play Wound and Crippling? Always Star Wars critics? Yeah. Wear tighter shirts to make your arms look better? To make your arms look bigger. That already happens. I already have a bunch of shirts that like... My physique has always been very misleading. Very misleading. Like, anytime I've ever started working out, like, certain shirts definitely make me look like I've got some shoulders and, like, I've got some arm strength. Not the case at all. Not the case at all. Like, traps. But, we're getting there. We're getting there. Get a bag of rice in a bucket? I mean, my forearms aren't weak. Like, I'm definitely getting stronger. It's just, it feels like when I look at myself, I'm like, bro, I swear my arms are way smaller. I'm not showing anyone the belly jiggle. Not gonna happen. It ain't happening. There's literally a picture of me on Twitter. Wait, oh my god, don't I have that picture? What picture was that? I'm gonna find it. There we go. Guys, when I went to Hawaii in 2022 at the start of the year, it was at the end of the season. So the trip that we went on, it was at the end of the season, and I basically had to push rank 1 and try to get as safe as possible with a week left. So I think I couldn't play the last like 6 days or 7 days of the season, so I had to push as high as possible to try and be as safe as I could be and hope that I got it while I was on vacation. And I actually did. And I tweeted a picture. Look at this. Oh yeah, get fucked, dude. I think I was like rank 2 when I left. I was like rank 2. I was like 35-20 or something. Crazy, bro. Farming all these guys. This was Shadowlands Season 2. Oh yeah, Unchained. Shadowlands Season 2. You look really good there. This was a long time ago. Yeah, this was 4 years ago. I think in this picture, I was probably like 190 something. I was probably like 195 in this pic. With no muscle mass at all. With no fucking muscle mass. Best Glad title name? Unchained Gladiator Dumpy? Oh yeah. Like that. You have long forearms, that's the issue? Yeah, I think that my forearms just, to me, make me feel like I've got tiny ass, like I just, yeah, it's fine. Nothing wrong with a little body dysmorphia, man. Nothing wrong with little body dysmorphia, dude. Tyrannical Glad is also sick, yeah. That's a sick title. I don't know what the best Glad, like, rank 1 titles are. Like, let's check. Astral's pretty sick. Astral Glad is fucking awesome. I feel like for me, if I had to pick one, I feel like Eternal is one of the coolest. For sure. Cosmic. Corrupted is sick. Cosmic is sick. I don't really like Crimson. I didn't really like the Dragonflight titles. Crimson, Cruel. Demonic. Demonic is dope. Dominant. Draconic. Oh yeah, that was Dragonflight too, right? Dread. Yeah, I just feel like Eternal is the dopest one. Why are you co-streaming MDI but not even watching it? It hasn't started yet, man. It's literally not even live yet. They haven't even started, bro. We're waiting on the YouTube stream. They're doing the fucking trailer right now. They're still doing the countdown and shit. Yeah, Galactic Gladiator is this one. Fearless is dope. Ferocious. Like, there's a bunch of cool ones. I don't know. I think I like Eternal the most. Eternal's dope. I love to have the one-button Gladiator. Ooh. This season is Galactic. Victorious is dope too, yeah. The TBC ones? What's TBC? You got Merciless. Yeah, Merciless, Vengeful, Brutal. Yeah, I mean, I love the Vengeful title. I think the Vengeful title's dope. You need the Blitz rank 1? Galactic Warlord? Ah. Divine Glad? I don't know. That could be an interesting title. The Jiggling Gladiator, yes. Yes. Oh, about time we're up. Sleepy Gladiator? I'd be down for that too.
Really to show what you want. And the other groups I think are going to have a lot to show too. But you know, Migs, you said yesterday that the Group A Finals were going to be, and I quote, poggers. Do you stand by that? Actually, I'll...
What, do you have a Snapchat? Because people make a fuck ton of money off Snapchat, and I was gonna start using Snap again and just posting random shit every day and get like the Snap partner. And then I realized that I literally fucking hate Snapchat. So it didn't last long. It lasted for like 3 weeks. How do people make money off Snap? Same as everything, just ads.
Co-casters having NPC-like dialogue.
They need to find a way to speed up these MDIs. 77-hour stream is rough. Yeah, that's just because they had long series though. They had 3-game series for a while. They had a few 3-game series, and then I think they did 6 matches total yesterday, and I think today's 4. So they did 4 Friday. It was a fast day. 4 today, or 6 yesterday, and then there's 4 today, which is definitely weird. I don't know why there's 6. I feel like they could split that up maybe a little better. But 4 to 6 to 4 is rough.
Your mom, which honestly I feel like is the best way to do it. But you know, we've got a day ahead of us here, so let's go ahead and do a little refresher.
Gotta chill,
to start.
man.
Group A is just
Everyone's
the beginning
vibing.
of our competition in Midnight.
What level keys they're doing? They do 15, 16, 17 keys. All their keys are 15 to 17. You gonna sit and make fun of Make's pets today? I wasn't making fun of their pets. I was saying that those cats just look fried. I was saying those cats just look cooked. They look like they're just experiencing all their trauma all at once.
2 teams from each of these groups will move
Ever learned anything
on
insightful
to the season
from MDI?
1 finals. Now, you'll note that the...
No, the cats. I like the cast, man. I like the cast. Dratnos is funny. What was I gonna say? I mean, I wouldn't say I really learned anything crazy. I mean, there's a few things that the teams do that are crazy. Like the way they skip certain packs is insane. I'd say that's the biggest thing that you notice. Why is MDI only doing 15 to 17 when people are timing 22s? Because MDI, what they do, the point of MDI is to do keys as fast as possible. You think PvE is harder than PvP? Depends. I would say some aspects of it aren't. I would say I think PvP overall is still harder, but certain aspects of PvE are way more difficult. Like, I think the idea of being very consistent with your rotation and your pathing and your trades is really hard in PvE. Like the idea of being very efficient and yeah, like this skip right here, the Wormstone skip is so OP. I think the idea of being efficient, I also think PvE is very fatiguing. I think PvE is very, very fatiguing, and it's different. Like, obviously PvP can be fatiguing too if you're just queuing arena for hours, but it's different. It's different. Yeah, so MDI, the whole premise of MDI, right? The whole purpose of it, the point of it, is they are trying to do keys as fast as possible. So that's why they're doing 15, 16, and 17 keys, but they're doing them as fast as humanly possible. So, like, mandatory, for example, Genji's team, they're doing keys. Like, I think they had a 15 key in like 11 minutes. I think mandatory, so Genji's team and the Polish team, Polish Mountain, Polish Mountain did a Magister's Terrace 17 in 15 minutes. So yeah, it's not about pushing high keys. That's a different tournament. That's like the Great Push. That's where they do that type of shit. This, for MDI, it's all about trying to push these keys as fast as possible. So they're doing, like, a lot of the dungeons you're going to see, especially today, because we have some of the better teams today. This is the finals for Group A. The better teams you're going to see today, they're going to do these dungeons in like 5 pools. Like, from the start of the dungeon to the end, some of the dungeons they're going to get done in 5 pulls. Like, they're going to pull all the way to the boss, kill that, kill the boss, go pull the other, all the way to the second boss, do that, all the way to the third, do that, all the way to the fourth, do that, and then it's over. It's not like it's not at all the same as, like, just pushing regular keys.
Yeah, you know, I feel like our top 4 here that we have are just so interesting. We have these...
Yeah, basically, the players that you're going to see in MDI, exactly. The players that you're going to see in MDI are pushing keys and pulling, like doing chain pulls the same way that you would in like a fucking time walking. Like, you ever do time walking and you're literally pulling the entire dungeon at once? That's what they're doing, basically, but in keys. It's insane.
Yes, absolutely. But before I go there, chat, please take out pen and paper. You are going to write this one down because I know you cannot remember. Every single time I look in chat, people are like, how does this back ban rule? Did they explain this back ban rule? Yes, we do. Every pre-show. Here we go. After each map, the top 3 most played specs are banned. This is accumulative. That means from map 1, you get 3 bans. Map 2, you get another 3 bans. 3 plus 3, quick maths, is 6. In Air Global Finals, we could see as much as 12 bans for a team. The only thing that I think is tripping people up is that when specs are tied, so after map 1, all of these specs have only been played 1 time, so then the teams get to actually select which of their specs they want to ban out. So whenever you see a spec ban coming in, it is the team themselves deciding that this is what they want to take out. And Petals, which of the specs do we usually want to preserve, so save from that spec ban list?
Yeah, the metagame has been kind of interesting this weekend. Obviously, it's the first weekend. We haven't seen like multiple weekends of this for it to get refined. So far, it seems like healers have been the most targeted ban, with a few healer specializations actually seeing really solid play. Restoration Shaman, Discipline Priest, Mystery
We saw
Remote,
shamans,
all seeing as a decent amount of share of play, which means that if they're closely balanced, then the thing that you're most likely to want to ban out is that healer, if ever possible. The things that seem like they're really good, the Devour Demon Hunter, the Augmentation Evoker, and the Guardian Druid seem like the top 3 specializations in terms of things that you want to preserve for multiple maps.
Guardian Druids are
Obviously, you
disgusting.
can't preserve all 3 of them if you played in map 1, but map 1 is now more.
Yeah,
important
Shamans
than it ever
are
has been
like
before.
Resto Shaman's pretty decent in
Obviously,
keys.
It's a 3-game series, so like map 1 is just inherently going to be super important. But now I would argue that compared to where we've been in seasons past, now map 1 is even more impactful because you're able to play your best composition.
Agreed, Buff Bears.
And
Yep.
have the highest chance of winning that key on that best composition, putting your the other competition in a weird position if they ever have to go to like a tier 2 comp on a map that they're maybe a little bit less comfortable on.
Yes, we've seen some of these, series kind of drag out. It's very interesting when you start getting to that, third one, or eventually when we have best of 5. What's going to happen is you get to the later maps if they go that far,
Go
right?
Tabasco, what up, dude?
Because suddenly you're going, okay, what do we think we can make work with this when so much has been banned out? And it's definitely put our team to the test, but I think in a way that's been really interesting to see and a lot of fun. And
Sean, the
Dranos,
worst healer
you
in
gave us the recap of
I don't know if
yesterday's
there's
action,
a terrible healer
but
right now.
where did those
I
runs
think every healer's decent.
actually land all the teams on the bracket?
Yeah, so we're playing a double elimination bracket, which means that once you lose once, you get sent down to this lower bracket where if you lose again, you are eliminated. Now, yesterday we started off with those matches.
See a variety? Yep, we actually do. Look at this. Look at this real quick. Hold on. Let me find the picture. This is the picture from yesterday. They forgot to put one spec up there. They forgot to put Frost DK up there. But this is a picture from yesterday's stream. Of all the specs that were played. And this is only 2 days. So in 2 days of MDI, we've already seen more than half the specs played. Isn't that great? Compare that to AWC where, we watched in 1 day, which was Sunday, we watched 31 Rogue Mage Mirrors. We watched 31 games of Rogue Mage Mirrors. That's classic, dude. That's fucking classic.
They're going to.
I like the ban
in this
system.
dungeon.
I like
we'll
it.
see Sky Rage for the first time, which hasn't.
You need permission to coach in the MDI? There's like a form I think that they want people to do, like at the start of the season.
Continue with elimination in that.
Ooh, that reminds
lower
me, is Aya
bracket.
live?
So the pressure is for sure on. We might get a glimpse at who's looking to take this weekend.
I mean, honestly, I feel like Group A has just shaped up amazingly. We have these incredible powerhouse teams, Mandatory, who we all thought, was just going to sweep straight through, but Polish Mountain being so competitive, just like you were saying.
Is Aya a liar?
And these other teams that are coming in on our lower bracket, I think also have the potential to
Oh,
really
never mind.
show us a lot today. So there is a lot
Aya wanted
for
to
these
co-stream,
teams to
but
prove,
she-
But Tettles, it's that time again.
She said
Which
she can't do
matchup
today.
do you
Okay.
think is the one to watch today?
Yeah, okay, that's my bad.
So the Mandatory Polish Mountain series,
He's
kinda
not
like
here
Mace is
today.
highlighting, is actually a very interesting one. The Sin Spellbook I Do It
Is
matchup,
Aya a liar?
obviously the loser of that is going to be eliminated and have their
glad you
BlizzCon
like that
dreams
one.
dashed. But I think the most important matchup is that third matchup of the day. The loser of match 1 versus the winner of match 2. The lower
I wonder what the viewer
finals,
breakdown
because
is
that
for
going
AFC
to
to MDI.
determine
I don't know.
who is going to be going and joining the team.
Would you support it for a PvP tourney though? Of course. I think we need bans. I think that we need to figure out what the best system would be for bans. I don't know. I don't think there is one system that's just better than the others. I think there's plenty of ideas out there on how they can do bans in AWC. However, I think it's needed. So yes, I would love to have bans. I would love to have bans. I think it would make it way more interesting. Something that I was thinking about yesterday is this idea of, and it's even little things too. Like if you don't want to, because Arena is different from MDI, right? MDI does self bans, and I think that because Arena is different, because it's matchups and all that, as opposed to doing bosses, like you're against other classes, other comps, right? Like matchups are important. So I think because of that, it's a little different. You can't just copy the same ban system. But I think that there are plenty of ideas. I think there are plenty of ideas that can... I think there are plenty of ideas that can work. I think one of the things that would be interesting is this idea of not being able to play the same thing 3 times in a row, you know? So even if you don't want to do bans for the whole thing, I think it would be interesting to have... I think it would be interesting to be like, okay, if you win 2 series in a row as one comp, you have to swap. So like, let's say you're Echo, for example, right? If you're Echo and you play Rogue Mage Druid and you win 2 games in a row, you have to swap for game 3. You can't just play Rogue Mage Druid again. And I feel like that is possible too to make things more interesting. So even if it is a 3-0, you have to at least swap the comps and play something else. Or, I mean, I think just with that, it'll make 3-0s and 3-1s way more interesting as opposed to you know, oh, these guys play Rogue Mage, so they win every single game. What if loser got to choose map or a single ban from the enemy team? I mean, that could be possible too. I think there's plenty of things they can do. Because it depends on how... If you do a bunch of bans, it also depends... The bans and stuff, the banning format that you would want also depends on how you want... the comp, like the map and the counter pick to be, right? Because when you lose, you get map and counter pick. So if you do a bunch of bans, are you going to keep that? Are you still going to have counter pick with map and comp? Or does that not matter anymore and everyone locks in blind? Or does the losing team get to pick the map, but then everyone locks in blind for comps? Like, there are a lot of factors with it, you know? But I think it's going to take... It would take some experimenting to figure out what works best.
But they've also been super, super risky with what they do.
But I do think that having it so that you can't play the same specs if you win twice would be an interesting concept as well. So, like I said, if Echo played a series and they were up 2-0 as they played Frost, Outlaw, Resto Druid, and they're up 2-0, they can't play Frost Mage or Outlaw Rogue or Resto Druid. They have to swap. Like, all 3 specs have to swap. And I think that would be interesting as well. Like, I think it would be interesting if you couldn't play... Think about it like this. I think it would be interesting, kind of like how MDI does their format, if you couldn't play a series winning as a comp more than 2 times. And then for finals, it'd be 3 times. So, like, let's say Waz's team is up 2-0 as Frost Mage, Outlaw, Rogue, Resto Druid. They're up 2-0. They can't play Rogue. They can't play that comp. Like, they can't play those specs until... They can't play those specs for the rest of the series. Like, I think that would be interesting too. There's a lot of things they can do, man. I don't think forcing the 4th teammate to play would be fun, though, to be honest with you. Like, I don't like the idea of forcing the 4th person to play because... I don't like the idea of forcing the 4th person to play because it's just kind of RNG at that point if, like, that person is going to play the specs that are good. But I do think that the only way to solve that is by just being a 3-man roster. I'll be at BlizzCon, yeah.
Access to all of their specs, whereas if it shows up in that 2nd or especially that 3rd spot in a series, teams might have to come into it with a bit of a different plan if they've already, say, burned that Aug Evoker or something like that. The way that our spec variety rules...
Oh, we're doing upper first, guys. Mandatory and Polish Mountain are the best 2 teams right now for Group A. These are the best 2 teams for Group A. This is an upper bracket semi. So this is a semi-final game. And Mandatory is a mix of, like, Echo and Method players. So Genji's on this. I think there's 4 groups for MDI. I don't know. They showed the graphic earlier. Here it is. Yeah, there's 4 groups. Yeah, these are the two best for this group.
Teams had to come back and rerun this dungeon and come up with new strategies.
I think not only that, but also we've seen some...
Do you worry that such a change would adversely affect healers who already play a more niche role and often requires more specialty to play well? Not really. I mean, I think it just depends on the I think it depends on the format that you do as well. And like we talked about a bit, the last couple days, at the end of the day, if you're going to play at the highest level and you're going to play in tournaments as well, like if you're going to be a high-rated player and you're going to play in these tournaments at the highest level, you're going to play multiple things. You're not going to have somebody that can only play Resto Druid, and then if they log on a Priest, they're 2K rating, Like, you would expect that from the people that are playing at the highest level. And I think, unfortunately, the case is, if you can't do that, then you don't really deserve to win. At this stage of WoW, I think it's kind of just the normal, Like, ever since mid-Legion or so, everyone has started to pick up more classes every season, every expansion, where people just play everything. Yeah, healers are the same. Like, I have always enjoyed playing other classes, so I've always messed around on other healers. But even for me, I didn't start consistently playing everything until probably Legion. In WoD, I would play stuff for in WoD, I played like my Druid. I'd played my Druid for fucking 2 months and then I'd quit. I'd play my Druid for 2 months, farm people, and then I would be bored. I played my Pally, I think season 1 of WoD, played my Pally for a month, farmed everybody, and then I was like, okay, I don't like Pally anymore. Played Shaman. Season 2, I did the same thing with Druid and Dispriest. Season 3, same thing. And then in Legion is when it's like, oh, we should start playing everything more. Like, you should just always be playing everything. So in Legion, I was always playing Druid. I was always playing Priest, Disc and Holy. I was always playing... I tried to play Pally a lot. I fucking hated Pally in Legion, but tried to play Pally a lot. I tried to pick up Monk. I think there was one patch where it got buffed, and it was really good. And we started playing more Monk. But I'm consistently playing those ever since then. BFA was the same, Shadowlands, all this stuff. So it's just different.
Looking for as well is what specs can you use that will be good in this map that you then don't mind banning.
Stream lagging? I am dropping
Skyreach
frames. Let me
features a
lower
couple of
my...
options for something like this. There's some Warlock options for something like this. There's some Warlock gateway actions that you can use in this dungeon that can be pretty high value, right at the start of the dungeon.
We actually did drop frames. We have 3,800 drop frames randomly. I think we're good now, though. A little bit of a lag spike. Nothing we can do. Comcast deciding to, fuck us over one more time, but I think we're good now.
Here, monks for their ability to transcend around this dungeon as well can be something to look out for too. So curious to see what the teams decide to use.
Oh, we're doing Skyreach first.
I would like to see something like the Warlock if you're planning to go to Game 3, or just try and win the series 2-0. But it looks like
here we go.
Are indeed on that Warlock
what
lifestyle. They don't agree about much else though. In fact, the Warlock is the only point of agreement between the two teams.
I feel like for mandatory, this is kind of how I would
we're dropping
play
frames
around
again?
the spec variety rule, right? You try to play the...
Let's lower our output till it's
the
back.
most high power
we'll go to 5.
comp in that map 1, unless you feel like if you're Polish Mountain, if you feel terrible.
No, I didn't do the predictions. I think it's hard because obviously a lot of the people that are watching, we are not too familiar with PvE. So like people just weren't predicting, people weren't voting. So I'm just gonna not do it. Which is fine. It doesn't really matter.
What we saw from time trials in this dungeon.
Let us gamble. I mean, okay, fine. I'll do the gamble after this series.
Are going to be.
That's what we want.
Look at their comp, right? They're going to be able to ban out the Warlock.
You trying to become a broadcaster? No, I just like doing the watch parties. It's fun.
3 specs that are kind of the meta specs, whereas Polish Mountain should be able to ban out maybe the 3 DPS, right? So they might actually be stronger, better positioned for maps.
So we have a
2 and
17
3
Skyreach, our
mandatory,
first dungeon.
Really important, I would say, if you can go up 1-0 in the series, that's worth potentially having to ban out that Devourer, Demon Hunter,
What are we playing?
Druid,
playing Guardian, Resto,
we will see how this works out for both of the teams.
Okay, so pretty standard setup
combat. It is
for first game.
Gotten here a little bit faster. Of course, one of the big Warlock strengths is being able to get.
But this is interesting. So this is why the variety rule for MDI is kind of interesting. So mandatory, because it's a 17, mandatory is picking a really strong comp for their first game, which means if this goes to a match 3, if this goes to map 3, they have to ban 3 of these specs from this first map, and they can't play them for the rest of the series. So if this does go to a map 3, not having an Aug Evoker or a Demon Hunter is going to be pretty rough if they have to ban those. Like those specs are really good right now, so But at the same time, Dev Evoker, because they are doing higher, because they're going to be doing a lower key, is a bit different since you're not going to be able to have as much ramp in the lower keys. But as you can see with Polish Mountain, they're playing fucking Survival Hunter Ret. So like they're playing a weird comp too. Slightly different. Not like these specs are terrible in PvE, but it's just different, you know?
Low amounts of trash between them. So having a
I like
comp that is
stat templates, yeah.
optimized for nuking bosses, I think is very important here. It does look like Polish Mountain are able to keep this gap at about 15%.
Lizzo plays a lot of stuff now, but definitely back then he played like mainly warrior. Like I said, a lot of teams started playing more classes in like Legion. Like mid Legion or so is when the shift started happening with WoW, with competing in WoW, where every single team. It was like mid Legion when it started. Like the start to mid Legion is when that started, and then obviously over the years it's progressed to and evolved, right, to where now everybody plays multiple specs. Like if you look at all these tournament teams, obviously you're gonna have a couple teams that are kind of like one tricks, but all the top teams in the tournaments, they play fucking every class in the game, right? Like you're gonna look at even Echo, like someone like JT, who they just won this last cup. Obviously he probably has very little experience on Druid, if not, you know, fucking nothing. And picked it up in a week, and then they won a cup with it, right? Like he is doing that and playing at a really high level, and also plays other healers. And then obviously Waz plays everything. Raikou plays a bunch of different classes. Mercy plays a bunch of different classes. Like that's just the norm now. It's just the norm now. Whereas back then people always just really back then just kind of stuck to one thing too. Like even though it's always been good to multi-class, I think people back then were just never really saw it that way, where like you're only gonna play one thing.
AoE damage. I think Gingy got targeted by double Solar Construct tether, and then Kush ended up getting hit by one of the ground effects by the solar elemental.
It just comes to people getting better too.
Fire.
Like people just are a lot better now at understanding the game.
Indeed, 0 deaths for both teams. The cheat death is still available.
This is a mega
Gingy
pool
as well, so no harm, no foul so far. But
used to be a lot more obnoxious to gear.
I'd say we have.
Yeah, the way gearing and stuff was, like leveling and gearing was different, but even then, like that was part of it too. It just the commitment, right? Like, and then people were also worse, you know? Like people were worse at the game. So, not only back then, right? If you take like Tata, for example, right? Or Wrath, like not only did you have to level up and gear your character, which took a while, but that's a huge commitment to make with on top of trying to learn the class. And then if you look at players back then, like let's be all of it. Let's we all know what it's like, right? We all saw Classic WoW. Classic WoW is pretty fucking easy to play. Everyone is just a fucking god of WoW now when you go back to Classic. So when you look at Classic PvP, the game, the way people play now, like people play everything. So many people on Classic, even though you have to level and gear your character and it takes a while, they just play every class still anyways. And I think that's a big difference too. Like the game is just, people just understand WoW and how to play it. They have way more of an understanding on how to play the game now than back then, right? Like everything just evolves.
Just a pinky toe out of position there ends up.
Have there ever been people who competed in more than one game?
Should have bubbled.
By that AoE.
I mean, if he thought he was,
I don't know at the
engaged,
same
he
time,
would've
but
just pressed the bubble
there are plenty of people that have competed in games and then played other games over the years, but not. I don't know if they've done that at the same exact time. Like Pooks is a good example. Pooks was a Overwatch pro. So Pooks competed in WoW. He was a mage. He was a really good mage, and then he became an Overwatch pro when that game came out. But I don't know if there's ever people that played the same thing at the same exact time, where they're dual competing.
They're kind of the things because the Ruck Run Trash is kind of like Force. There's a lot of RP.
Yeah, apparently
Z
Z-rated, like they all
we
used to
might
play
be looking to
Fortnite
see
or
here.
something.
That's kind of what I'm
really
interested
played
in.
Fortnite, I don't know.
Yeah, boss is nearly dead here for mandatory.
Montage of
We'll
blind
be able to get
sapping,
the
yeah.
answer for what their rest of dungeon looks like in the very near future here. 4% on the boss, as it should be going down here before it gets any further casts. And let's see what
I mean, that's the case with everything, right? Like that is literally the case with every competitive field, sports. Like things just evolve, man. If you take, it's like what they say about it's like what they say about sports now. Like if you take Michael Jordan and you fucking drop him in the 60s, like they literally will think this guy is a complete freak. If you take fucking LeBron and put LeBron in the 80s and 90s, bro, like if you put fucking Kyrie Irving, take Kyrie Irving and put him in the 80s, people will literally think that he's cheating, like the way he fucking handles the ball. Like they actually will think he's fucking cheating or something. It's just everything evolves over time, right? Everything progresses. It's WoW is the same thing. If you took me on Shaman and the way that I play it and have always played it over the years, if you took me in like, what's a good expansion of Shaman? Dragonflight, for example, like all the utility of Shaman and how you play, and you put that in fucking like Wrath, dude, people would think I was botting. People would think I was botting if you put me in that time back in like OG Wrath. Like I would just be considered the botter, like the hacker of the game. Everything changes, man. Everything changes. It's like same thing with everybody. Like you put someone like Waz or Pika back in fucking TBC, bro. You put them back in like actual TBC, like original TBC, bro. People in TBC were getting glad by fucking backpedaling and using their fucking arrow keys on their keyboard and clicking all their totems. Like it's just completely different. But that's how it was back then, right? Like those people were good at the time in their era, and they were, a lot of the people that were really good were ahead of their time, right? You take somebody like Snuts. Obviously, Snuts has kept up throughout the years. Snuts has kept up with everybody. But if you look at Snuts back in the day, like he was someone that, you know, was ahead of his time. If you take someone like Rekful back then, Rekful was ahead of his time. Rekful doing the shit he was doing with bombs and blind saps and fucking, you know, kidney smoke bombing and sapping, that is like a regular play now. Like those are quote unquote regular plays. They're still crazy. They're still crazy to watch, and they're still really good plays. It's really good playmaking ability. But nowadays, that's more of a normal thing. Obviously, if we watched it in a tournament, it would still be super exciting, and it'd be sick as fuck to watch. But it's not like you see that and you're fucking completely mind blown of how did he even think of that, because that's something that's normalized at this point, right? It's so common. But yeah, if you look at back then, like if you go watch Rekful 3, the shit that he was doing back then is unheard of. With fucking like getting the step saps off of blinds and shit, or like off of smoke bombs, like that's unheard of, dude. Getting life gripped to get the sap, like that shit is crazy. And it's just, yeah, they're trailblazers. They're people that are ahead of their time, you know? Holy fuck, Mandatory is smoking these people, dude. These guys just got done with a third boss. They have a 52-second lead, and they have a death. I lied. They have 2 deaths. We couldn't do the skip.
Probably need to be able to
We
get
couldn't
this
do the
off
skip.
the next 15 to 20 seconds, otherwise they're going to be wiping.
They use that cauterizing flame already as well, so 26 stacks of the bleed. The bark skin and the survival instincts rolling for Mirez.
Drop
He's now
Usain
having to
Bolt
start
in the
running
50s?
away from
Yeah.
his pack. Is able to
In the
reset his stacks,
1920
though.
Olympics, yeah, dude,
Beast.
it's-
all right, so he
Absolute,
should be okay.
It's just a lot different.
Absolute beast. Like, oh, dude, that pull, the
I grew up a
shears that are going
skateboarder.
out on your take,
What got you pro in the
burning
90s wouldn't
talons,
get you sponsored
that's
now.
just so much damage.
Everything
It's
changes, man.
unreal.
Everything evolves.
Now, in the meantime, we did have a death over on the side of Polish Mountain to that wind gauntlet, actually.
All right, they're
even though
fully
they have
locked
that
in on
warlock,
percent.
they did have
They're
a
on the
player
last
go
boss.
down during the skip section there, so that's another 15 seconds. That's
And then, like, let's be honest, these guys are not going to die on the last boss. I think they're pretty chill here. So, I think Mandatory takes this, man. They're going to get this last mob down, 1%. This will be their final percent. Wait, how did that happen? What the fuck? Wait, I'm gonna go back for a bit. Did he? Oh my god. Wait, what the fuck? Dude, Ogavokers are so disgusting. Guys, I know that we're on the last boss. I'm sorry that, you know, we're pausing it here. We know they're gonna win this map, let's be honest. Look what he does. Dude, you can wormstone the fucking fly. So the bird comes in. If you don't know this dungeon, there's a bird ad that comes in that steals one of your teammates. And then you have to kill the bird before he drops him off the side. And you can fucking wormstone it. And just avoid the mechanic. That is so disgusting. That is so fucking disgusting. Oh my god. You see what I mean? Like, when you watch these teams in MDI, like, they're doing this shit that you're not doing in your pugs, man. So you can port it as well? Damn, you can't do it on Shaman, though. That's fucked up. Of course Shaman can't do that. Why can't I do it on Shaman, dude? Oh, this guy, oh, look, the Shaman got a Wormstone, too! He just did it! Oh my god, the fucking rest of Shaman has a Wormstone from the healer. Bro, that's so disgusting. Wow, they got it done. 12:55
in the series.
Bro, that's so
Impressive play from
insane.
Mandatory, but you expect no less. They get that first point on the board, which sets them up for a possible 2-0 sweep, but they're going to have to bring it in the next game as well. Now, of course, this was our first look at both of these teams in Skyreach, at least on broadcast. So, as we kind of look back and think on this particular matchup, I mean, Tuttles,
Dude,
what
that
do you
shit
think
is
we
so
saw from the teams
disgusting.
through it?
It's kind of interesting. I'm really interested in Make's thoughts on this.
I mean, we saw right
like,
there.
Janice and I started talking.
For whoever was asking about MDI earlier, this is your example right here. They did this dungeon in what, 12:50? They did a 17 Skyreach in 12 minutes. 13
a
minutes.
tier 2 DPS composition, which it's not bad, right? Like, obviously, they were competitive, and if Mandatory made a medium mistake...
12
they would've
minutes,
won.
55 seconds.
But now, this Polish Mountain set up to try to reverse sweep this map pool in a way that they thought that was their best strategy.
Oh, I mean,
That's
I think we can get some
exactly
more
what I was
insight.
saying.
Here we go.
That's crazy. And what's a big deal, like we said, is... So I think the way that Dev-Evoker works, this is what Wiz was saying, when I think that's kind of the same case that we're seeing in the tourneys, or in MDI right now. I think for Dev-Evoker, or sorry, for Devour DH, because you have so much ramp up, in the lower keys, it's harder to do a ton of DPS. Because you don't get to take advantage of all the ramp up time. Like, you ramp up, and then during your CDs, you can't get all your damage out. So I think it's interesting that Mandatory, so Genji's team, they're playing Devour first on the 17. Like, they're going to play Devour on the 17, and he can do a bunch of fucking DPS during all these big pools, because the mobs obviously have way more health. So now, in the later keys, not having a Devour is not going to be that bad. Like, I think that's what we were saying at the start of this dungeon, is I think now in the 16, and especially in the 15 key, they don't need a Devour. So having them in the first game is really good for them.
Because if you're going to take a look at
Yeah, there are a bunch of
Ryzen
Evoker
here,
and lock skips,
as
yeah.
the rest of the group runs in, he's on an
Yeah, Dev, I
extra
think in low
mission,
keys
so
is
he
kinda
is
shit, right?
actually
'Cause
playing
you-
that elemental, that
you can't take advantage
initiate
of your
the
ramp
rising
up, right?
sun, and spawning the
Like, your
orb
cooldowns
outside,
just-
then
you
running
don't
back
get your
to the
full
group. You can see
DPS in
them
your
run
cooldowns.
in here, making sure that orb is not a problem for
Wow.
them, but adding the additional trash, which is really, really cool. A little bit of an oopsie on Polish Mountain here. It was an unfortunate spawn. You're trying to edge out the extra damage, but this is a tank-only thing. You cannot
Unlucky.
do that if you're a melee player without having additional defensive, so he needed to hide there. Then something cool that both teams did is actually just tanking those searing quills. I quickly want to say these stunts are performed by trained professionals. Don't try at home. This is not something
Yeah,
you
don't
should
do-
be doing
don't do these in your pugs,
LOG
dude.
sped. Very, very cool from both teams to just do this in a plus 17.
I don't get it. Shouldn't they want the Devour DH in their highest keys so they save them for last? No, this is the highest. This is the highest. I don't know how they decide that. That's the one thing that I don't know if they've mentioned it. I gotta go read the book, or I gotta go read the rules on it. This was their highest one. So they do a 15, a 16, and a 17. I don't know what determines whether or not you do... I don't know what determines which key level you do first. I think the teams vote on it, maybe. So this is the 17. So, like, we've seen teams start with 15, start with 16. They started with a 17. So they started with a 17 this one.
Oh, unfortunate, but
You're blocking the dungeon level with the face cam? No, I'm not. What? I'm blocking the replay. Look, my cam's always over here. 17 on the left. I moved it because it's over and they show the replay. They're going to completely Astro Turbo Blast the lower keys. I don't think they'll play Devour in the lower keys.
With this setup that we saw them bring in,
We've seen
we were
teams
kind of theorizing.
We've seen teams play Devour in the high keys. Sometimes 16, definitely 17, but not too often in the low one.
Polish Mountain that they are planning in this dungeon.
Yeah, so we're doing 17 into a 15 Nexus point into a 15 Academy. So, yeah, now we're going to see bans now. I wonder what they're going to ban.
Since I think Nexus Point Zenith is a great place to play something like the Elemental Shaman. That will allow you to one-phase the Core Warden, potentially. We've seen that happen for exactly one of our teams before. I think it may have been Polish Mountain, actually, that were able to put that together. So having a composition that lets you do that, we've seen, actually, it was the Elemental Shaman paired with a Disc Priest that made that happen. So you play a couple of specs like that in Nexus Point, especially if you're
What's the
Polish
most
Mountain,
insane tech
then
pool
you
you've
can
seen
have
so
access
far?
to the full everything you want for Algothar Academy.
I mean, there have been a couple. Like, a lot of these teams they do a bunch of meld pools. Like, they'll do... I think one of the coolest ones was in Pit. Yeah, in Pit on the last boss, on the way to the cave, they skip the first pack. Run all the way, start the mini boss, get that done, bring all the ads to the boss, and then they send someone back down to Wernstone and pull the other pack, and then they Wernstone back up and kill the boss. So they got like everything with the boss pools. It was disgusting.
First sweep in the best of 3, which...
Yeah, the Magister's Terrace pool was also good. Polish Mountain and Mandatory did this too, I think, but Polish Mountain did their 17 Magisters. They pulled after the second boss all the way to the third. They pulled literally every pack all the way to the third boss. It was disgusting.
Big thing is that we
So there are a
haven't
few.
seen
There are a few
Mandatory
crazy ones.
at all in Nexus Point Zenith, and we have seen Polish Mountain, and they're the only team that goes right. I'm so curious on what Mandatory has prepared. Was their original route something like that as well? Have they seen Polish Mountain's route and have said, okay, this is actually cool, we're going to adapt on the fly since yesterday? I doubt.
All right, so we're banning... No, we're banning Shaman. All right, guys, it's short-lived. Shaman was short-lived, guys. It was short-lived. What are we banning? We're banning Shaman, Devour, and Demo Lock. And then they're banning Survival Hunter, Druid Red. Okay, that makes sense. They're probably going to play some OP shit now. So they're Polish Mountain's going to play like DK and fucking Demo Lock and shit.
It is. I mean, we'll see what they're going to bring in and what routing they're going to do, since like makes illustrated.
They're going to swap it up.
Had a bit of an interesting route going through this compared to other teams, but this will be game 2 in our first series
map
of
2.
the day. Mandatory versus Polish Mountain. Can Mandatory take this 2-0, or is Polish Mountain going to give them a run for their money? All you Dratnos.
All right, so once again, we do see Polish Mountain heading to
Where are they
the right.
Are they going to right or left?
Are going to be opting for that left-hand strategy.
Ooh, a little different. Okay. Most teams we see have gone left. We saw a couple teams go right though. But it looks like Mandatory is going to go for the fucking zap side dude on the left. The normal, I would say this is the more common route.
For Mandatory, the only question is how far can they go? We have 2 Circuit Seers in combat right now and a whole bunch of other enemies.
Guardian does so
This
much
is that
damage,
lust
man.
Rolling. We have that Elemental Shaman burst.
Yeah, they have an Ellie. So what we see here too is they like to play Ellie Shaman. We see teams love to play Ellie on this boss with on the second boss. Or I guess for Polish Mountain to be the first boss, but on the boss that has the burn phase, I can't remember the name of it. The fucking commander guy. During the burn phase, Shaman with Ascendance is disgusting. So we've seen teams play play Ellie during the beam, like during the damage phase, the burn phase.
Right, because the Trash Gauntlet here is time-based, or you need the mobs killed off before you can spawn the next amount of Trash Gauntlet. I think that the plan there is to just focus down all of those mobs and get the next wave of trash spawn as quickly as possible, and we'll just out-heal the double Null Sentinel beckoning AoE, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bold
All right,
strategy.
Mandatory is pretty
It is
ahead
something
right
though
now.
that you need to be really hyper aware of which enemies are the ones that are required to spawn.
They've
that
already-
trash
they've
pool.
already
So,
gotten
for
to the-
instance, this
already
wave,
gotten to the boss.
There's a Duskfright Herald and then a bunch of small voidlings that need to die.
This guy
the
needs to not
voidlings
die.
should just die to the AoE, but that Herald, you can see they've actually got a skull marker.
There you go.
to
Start the boss
identify
now.
This is the target. we need to
29%.
burst down in order to actually spawn the next wave of trash because it's the one that's actually linked to that. The
Because
other
Cranky
enemies,
has
a
to
little
be
bit
blamed
less
for being
important.
worn
They
out.
can
Yeah,
kinda
he's
die at any
spamming
time.
the spins,
Meanwhile,
dude.
though, Mandatory already in combat with the boss here. They've just taken the remainder of this trash up into the first boss here over on the left-hand side, and this is working out really nicely for them already.
I love the 1.5 pull get into Kazareth strategy. Kind of an insane one by Mandatory here. So I really think it's going to come down to how many pulls. Can
Imagine
Polish
Steph
Mountain
back then.
do that left side in.
Yeah, put Steph Curry in the fucking 80s, bro. Put Steph Curry in the 70s, dude. That'd be hilarious. Or no, whenever the 3-point got invented. When did they do that? 3-pointers were fucking, what, the mid-80s or something? When did they make the 3-point line? Put Steph right when they made that.
It should be easier to play the remainder of the dungeon, but what is a faster strategy?
Put him in
is
the first
thing
year
that's up
that
in the air for me
3-pointers
right
were a
now.
thing, and he would fucking
Absolutely,
completely
yeah, that is
shut
gonna
down
be
the league.
important thing to check because for me, one of
Just
the
shut down the
strengths
league,
of
bro.
going
It's-
left is
everything evolves,
you
man.
probably get a second.
Why do they ban certain classes? Well, it just depends. Like, there's strategy that comes in it because some specs are better in different maps. Some specs are better with different comps. But after each map, the teams have to ban specs that they played the most. That's why. It's one of the rules.
Playing. Maybe you still don't. Maybe either way.
They
you're
would just
already
remove the
basically
3.
Right at the
You put Steph Curry back in the fucking NBA that very first year that they added the 3-point line, and then the very next year they just remove it. Yeah. You're probably right. They add the 3-point line next season, they just remove it immediately. It only lasts one season, dude.
On this fight,
That's what would happen.
Mandatory, if they're able to one phase it, I think that this route
Ed
is
Reed
just
and Brian
going to
Dawkins
end
in
up
the
being
80s.
superior for Mandatory, but it really just kind of comes down to offensive
Ed Reed and
cooldowns
Brian
the compositions
Dawkins.
that are being played here, and we're
Damn.
going to have to see for Polish.
That was so
Mountain, are they
long
able to
ago,
one
man.
Phase this this light scar beam AOE damage amp because
Yeah,
that
spin-
can be
spin is
a
OP in
45-second
PvP too.
Swing on itself.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if.
All right,
it's
so
possible.
Kush is the Ellie Shaman for Mandatory. Oh, they're trying to one-phase it. Let's see.
Flare.
Oh my God,
Going
our
off
tank is
Polish
dead.
Mountain. Oh, but our tank is down.
What?
That's going to be a B-res. Now, luckily, all of the other
Holy
traps
fuck,
are
they had a
very
death.
low, so they are going to be able to kill it off.
Oh my
They're
God,
gonna
and they didn't get to
respond the
one-phase it.
boss.
That's so bad.
Somehow we've avoided turning a tank death
Wow,
into
they didn't get to one-phase the boss. The boss still has 30%. That's not good. Normally, you see the boss get to like 10 or so at least. That's rough. That's rough for them.
percent out of the first Light Scar Flare. Either way, you're just going to be killing it at around the same time, which is right
I
near
feel
the
like
start of
they're
the
so
second
far
Light Scar
behind
Flare.
now.
So this actually probably hasn't cost them too much extra time. The only thing that would save you a lot of time here is if you are able to genuinely one-phase it, which I don't think they were planning to do anyways. But Mandatory might be angling to do that. They are playing that Elemental Shaman, which I believe
Mandatory is
uniquely
frying them
well-suited
right
to
now.
making that happen.
I think
This
that
might
that
be a
is- that is
2-0.
The question is, can Mandatory one phase?
This might be a
Because
2-0.
If you end up killing it 3 seconds into the second Light Scar Flare versus 10 seconds into the second Light Scar Flare, that's really not that big of a time differential. But if you can kill it in the first one, that is a massive, again, like 45-second, maybe even a little bit longer of a time save. So Polish Mountain, they are going to be able to kill the boss off inside of that second Light Scar Flare about 75% of the way through. They do lose 15 seconds there.
They're gonna have
Tank death,
Ascendance and
now
all
we're
the
gonna
LE
start
damage
seeing a
for,
convergence in terms of where the teams
boss,
are.
obviously.
When is Polish Mountain going to be able to get the second boss pull?
Dude, we've had a
It's
few
super,
2 mil
super
DPS,
important.
yeah.
For Mandatory, they have that
Over the
forced
last couple days.
trash gauntlet ahead of them, which is pretty costly in terms of time. But I feel like Mandatory is further ahead just from the vibes, but it's really hard to tell with the trash gauntlet and how that kind of works.
Yeah, the vibes plus the one death for Polish Mountain, even though that probably was one of the best times to have a death, it's still going to cost them at least those 15 seconds.
Yeah, that one death
and
sucks.
Probably still a little bit more. Probably
That one death
realistically a total
sucks.
of at least 25 or
You can't have
30
deaths.
seconds,
When
which
you're the
is a
top
lot of
teams like
time to
this,
give a
one
team
death
like
is so
Mandatory,
brutal,
but
man.
They are now in that trash gauntlet, and Polish
15
Mountain
seconds.
are running down the left-hand side. And the other really dangerous thing about Polish Mountain's route is they don't have Lust for this pull. Not only do they not have Lust, they don't have Barkskin, they don't have Survival Instincts.
Oh, they don't have Incarn either. Oh my
How
God.
on earth is their bear going to live this?
Very carefully.
They're gonna
Life
use a
Cocoon
lot of
has come out,
CCs.
and
A lot of
now Life
CCs, a lot of
Cocoon is,
peels.
been depleted almost immediately, and now they are having that heal absorb stacking up.
There we go, they stun.
On tankiers
They overlapped.
Polish Mountain. He does rotate to that bark skin.
They gotta grip that
but
last
I feel
caster.
Like he is in tremendous danger right here, Dratnos.
Yeah, once this bark skin falls off, we're going to have basically nothing until that Incarn is ready. You can see 25 on the amount of time until it comes up, but you will be able to get that a little bit faster.
Oh my fucking god, dude.
Spending that rage, cycling through.
This pool is
close to
so
that
disgusting.
Incarn,
That room
but
is
he's
so
probably not gonna wanna press
disgusting.
it towards the end of this pool here.
Look at all the bombs.
Somehow it looks like he is going to be able to survive here, but let me tell you, I would not want to be doing this pull without Lust or Incarn. I would be pretty terrified about making that happen
a battery went
in
off.
any key.
Wait, did they kill it in time? Oh my god, it
Looks like they
have
killed
the
it. I don't
debuff.
see the debuffs on everybody's frames.
It definitely, okay, it looked like the gas definitely finished. So
Hey, they disabled the gate.
that was crazy.
Yeah, all right, it looks like they are going to be heading up now into that boss room as well. Potentially going to be trying to focus down these targets at the top of the stairs to start the boss fight, just like Mandatory
Trying to run
did, but
shuffle,
Mandatory
Void Weaver and shuffle
are gonna
earlier?
be spawning the
Once I was having a
second
blast
boss for
earlier.
themselves over here. The core
Yeah,
warden,
Void
as
Weaver's
they
still
do
the same.
grab
Like,
a few of these
you're definitely on a
scroungers
timer,
to
but
take
you do a
into
lot of
that
damn.
boss. Unlike most teams who are pulling 6 scroungers into it,
right, here's the
Mandatory's
boss.
grabbing 3, saying, you know what? It's not worth our time to run over to both sides. Let's just tag the
Mandatory
3 that
on
we
the
can
boss.
do in 0 seconds and then get straight.
We
into
gotta watch
boss
the
combat.
Ellie Shaman.
Here's the question: will they have?
We're all watching the Ellie Shaman and see if they can one-phase it. The most important thing here is they get to one-phase the boss. The Ellie has Stormkeeper and all his cooldowns, so he's got Ascendance here. Which, like I said, we've seen teams play Ellie on this map specifically, like this dungeon. So I guess we'll see if they can get the one phase here.
Flail on the Scroungers. Yeah. So yeah, if he didn't have a Zeons, it would definitely be toast. I mean,
Here it comes, here it
Augmentation
comes.
Evoker is.
Let's
I
see.
think the Ellie Shaman is more damage during the burn, but the Augmentation Evoker is insane amounts of
All right,
damage
let's see.
here as well. That Light Scarf Flare is coming out. Everybody is gathering inside of that massive damage amp. And the boss...
Oh my god, they're
dude,
blasting.
it's dead.
They're
Oh my
actually
God, they're
blasting.
one-phasing this. This is not close.
Yeah,
Yeah, so-
like I was saying, the Elemental Shaman,
the-
really the star of the show on this part of the dungeon. And
Now you see why
that's
teams play
I'm
Ellie.
Such a fan of it. And look at that as well, Elemental
Yep.
Shaman. I just want to highlight there. You could just run up that.
Now
middle
we
bit
see
and
why
you
they
jump
play Ellie on
properly.
this
That's
boss.
Exactly what Kush did. Not running up the sides. Again, just these tiny little optimizations.
The Ascendance is crazy, man.
Mandatory will never.
If you can Ascendance Stormkeeper with full Maelstrom, you actually fucking blast. And they have an Aug Evoker too, so the Aug buffs him too. So the Aug buffs the Ellie as well. Yeah, he's playing Stormbringer. We had one team. I think it was Cook is gone, right? There was one team. There were 2 different teams, I think, that played Disc Priest as well. They had a Disc Priest and an Ellie Shaman for that boss. It was disgusting.
Look at this. They're actually skipping a lot of the trash in this first area, just completely walking around it. I noticed they were a little bit high on count, but I didn't know what they were going to skip. But those lingering images have been determined to be not that fast. The light rots.
Does
These
Disc
are
pump
really
more than
dangerous
Fist? I don't
mobs.
know.
Just in general, you can only pull so many of them before you start to have a lot of problems. But mandatory determining that the lingering images, that's just not efficient enough to be able to pull right there for them. Wow.
Yeah,
I think it
Mandatory is
exactly
very far
that. It
ahead.
is an efficiency calculation rather than like a, hey, we can't do this. No, they could do it.
Oh, yeah.
They just don't think it's worth the time, right? They don't think that those, especially if you're pulling those mobs from that middle section, it takes them so long to run down that bridge. Sometimes they can get a little confused on that bridge as well and start targeting people with random stuff, and that can be really frustrating to deal with. You can have to wait a while to really keep those mobs under control. So yeah, Mandatory not interested in that at all. What they want to do instead is just fight all the trash that already starts down here during this boss fight so that they can just always be efficiently cleaving.
Mandatory was 1 minute and 45 seconds ahead of Polish Mountain coming out of that second boss. What an absolute run from them. Now they only have Lorthraxian and a little bit of trash that remains for them to be able to take down this series 2-0. Completely deathless. Have they been deathless through this entire weekend, by the way?
I think so. At least in this series, they definitely have, and they've been looking absolutely phenomenal.
All right, they're on last boss.
Lorthraxian going to be entering that Divine Guile phase here in just a second, and I wouldn't be surprised if during this,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's we all knew this going into it, that Mandatory was the favorites to win, and yeah, I mean they're just
should be approaching that 100% mark. Although they
blasting
do
this
quite a bit
dungeon,
of
dude.
count. I always get baited personally.
This is gonna be a what? A 12-minute?
99%
After
here.
this Divine
Hopefully,
Guile, they're gonna
Mandatory
lust
have
probably.
got this mathed out a little bit better than I do. Here
So
comes that
Divine Guile, they're gonna be
phase,
on the
though.
clone
They're
phase.
gonna try to identify which of these
They're gonna
images
find him,
does
and then they're gonna
not have
lust, I would
horns.
assume.
Knowing Mandatory, they probably have a plan of who's looking where.
They might have an add-on
identified
even.
that one. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
For mandatory, dude, I actually had a question coming
Probably
into
lost
this.
on this
What is
last
Kush's
year here.
elemental
Okay, so they
shaman
lost
going to
too.
look like? I don't think I've ever seen this guy play Ellie Shaman. Ellie Shaman was super popular last expansion. It was fairly hard to play. It has been simplified a little bit this expansion. I have no further questions about Kush's ability to be able to play Ellie Shaman. This guy has looked absolutely phenomenal on the specialization during this run.
Yeah, and again, the Ellie Shaman is a really important part of the puzzle if you want to skip that extra phase on Core Warden. Everywhere else in this dungeon, you know, you'd maybe be happier with a Devourer Demon Hunter, maybe, but that Ellie Shaman just uniquely
Is
good
Voyeur
at
better
making
than
that
Oracle?
possible.
Maybe in Shuffle.
Look at this too. Mandatory finally now rotating to their Bloodlust. Some of their offensive CDs are going to become available. I don't think they're going to beat this next Guile, but if they could, dude, that would have also been an insane time save. I don't think even with good RNG it's possible, but
Yeah, 17% is like a little too high, but you know, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
Ellie
be
seems to be
shocked
good
if
in
it
this
happens,
one.
at some point in the future.
He's actually
Especially,
pumping.
You know, if we keep this key level, or we maybe even go down a key level, or once we do get those ascended void cores and our weapons get a few more eye levels, that might be all we need to make that a possibility. But not important right now. What is important is that Mandatory are going to be taking this series
Nice.
2-0.
12
They are
minutes,
gonna be
dude.
making it to the season finals.
12:28.
Making it to the final match of the day. And
Not
they're
bad.
going to be sending
Not
Polish
bad.
Mountain down to the lower bracket to fight for their lives.
They are,
Damn.
they are, and you know it.
I mean, that wasn't even
many of-
close. Even with the death Polish had, it wasn't even close, man. It wasn't even close, dude.
Their dominance continues to crush every opponent in their path, and they blaze through the first series of our Group A finals. As
Reddit and Twitch
Brett
told me
has said,
Genji's
this
washed.
does secure them a place in our season
Everyone's
1
washed, man.
finals, but there is
If
still
you
a
ever
champion
lose
to be
once, you're
crowned
washed.
here in Group A. And while Polish Mountain fought to catch up, they weren't able to cinch.
They do a 10 and a 16 in the same time I do a weekly 10. Isn't it funny? Because you watch it, obviously, I wouldn't feel too bad about it, right? These guys are fucking super sweats, and they have access to literally the best everything, right? Because they're on the tournament realm. So you have all the best gear, enchants, crafted items, everything, all the consumables that you need. You can play all the good specs, whatever. They practice a lot. Obviously, they're fucking insane, and they have access to all that on TR, right? However, even with that, watching MDI, because like I said, I haven't watched MDI in a few years. Watching MDI is really funny because I think if I was doing keys like these guys, I would probably love it. I'd probably love doing keys. Like, they're doing dungeons in 12 minutes, bro. 15 minutes. I hate when dungeons take longer than like 20 minutes. Like, if I'm in a fucking key for 30 minutes, dude, I'm already bored. I'm so bored. Which just means that we just got to get the best gear. All that means is we need to get the best gear fucking possible. And then we need to try hard like these guys and just grind. 15-minute keys, bro. 12 minutes is insane. It's actually so disgusting.
Victorious pull is more.
No, they probably
worth
do so many
by
wipes,
not
yeah.
Looking as far into the dungeon, they
Try IO this season? I don't know. Let me check. Am I logged in? I think I'm 32 something. I haven't done a key in like 2 weeks. Don't tell Wiz, he's upset. Wiz keeps telling me that I don't care about them and I won't do keys with them. And it's true. It's true. I haven't done keys in like 2 weeks, which is not my fault. I've been busy. I've been super busy. We've been doing the watch parties and stuff. I've been really busy. I haven't had time to do keys. There's nothing I can do. But yeah. Let's see. I'm 3211. My lowest key is a Nexus Point 11, which I think I did like a month ago. Fuck Nexus Point. I actually hate that dungeon. I hate Nexus Point. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I don't want to do it ever. Do I even have a keystone this week? I don't think I do. I don't. Tragic. So I'm 3211, but my gear's a lot better now too. So I think the next time I do keys, it should be pretty nice to heal because I have a lot more gear now than I did before. I'm 278. 278 eye level. I think the last time I did keys, I was 273. I think I was like 273. So we're getting there slowly. We're getting there slowly. I still have a couple pieces to replace too. I got a gaze last week though. I got a gaze this week. Gaze is lit. I still have to upgrade my bracers, but I don't have enough mythic crests. The usual, dude. The usual shit.
His hair, what makes
Maybe I'll do keys tonight because I'm going to dinner. Guys, by the way, I can't stream the entire MDI. I know. I'm so sorry. Don't hate me. It's Mother's Day. I'm going out to dinner. So I have like 2 hours left. I'm sorry. It's not my fault. It's unlucky. But we'll be there until then. So maybe tonight I do some keys. I don't know. We'll see.
in these runs? It seemed massive for mandatory.
Yeah, I think that a lot of
Is
people
it 283 a day?
misunderstand
Yes,
what
this is
Augmentation
disgusting.
Evoker
That's
is
disgusting.
doing, right? Sometimes people will look at the damage meter and be like, oh, Augmentation Evoker is
My eye level
good,
sucks
but
as
maybe
my
it's not the best
pants.
damage, or they won't necessarily
Like here, you can see. This is my gear. My fucking pants. I haven't gotten a pants replacement yet from my vault or any drops from the keys that I do. So I can convert them. I can use the catalyst, but they're fucking 263, bro. So disgusting. I have the max rerolls for the season. I have 4. I can do 4 rerolls if I do keys. If I do keys.
I mean, honestly, I think that's so impressive in and of
So
itself.
I need to
because
find
if
it.
you're
I need to
just
find the
like,
dungeons that have
contributing
legs
to
and just
everybody,
re-roll spam.
That's a massive tool too.
I gotta target the legs,
course,
yeah.
But like a big difference being
'Cause
that
if I
you actually
replace
then
that,
go
my
on
gear will
to
be pretty
individually
solid.
Contribute. I mean, we even saw that with some healer play yesterday. If you can do that extra bit of damage,
I got the
and
Crucible
on top of
trinket,
the
I got
other
a
stuff that you're doing,
gaze.
it can make a big difference, especially
Eye level's
in
pretty
speed running,
solid.
for all of the different specs. But I mean, incredible to see from them.
No, legs
there
are my
and
worst
just
one.
How
And then
skillful
I
they
need
play
legs and I
through.
need crests.
And of course, we're going to be.
I need
I'm
more
sure
mythic crests so I
seeing
can
a lot
recraft
more
my
that's gonna
bracers,
continue to
and then I'll be
process
good.
From mandatory.
If I recraft my
overall.
bracers and I get different
We have
legs, I'll be
another
like
series coming up. We're
281
gonna be
probably.
Looking ahead to Send Spellbook versus
I'll be like 281,
Do It.
and we're fucking
and
back.
With that in mind, I mean, Dratnos, what do we think we're going to see from these two?
And we're back.
Yeah, I
dude.
mean, this is a vitally important series. I would say from how the teams have performed yesterday, Send Spellbook certainly are coming into this one as the favorites.
I have a gaze and I have a crucible.
But it's an interesting conundrum
The
because
Voidstone
if you're
shit.
either of these teams, you know that you not only need to
Voidstorm.
win this series, but also the next one. So how much practice time, how much thinking about
I need to get
these
the raid
different map
trinket.
setups do you
I
want
did-
to
I did the raid
allocate
this week,
to
it didn't
this
drop.
series versus that potential one
Maybe
against
next week.
Polish Mountain?
Maybe I'll get in
if
my
you
vault,
do
though.
win this series, right? Because you need to win both of them if
Maybe
you want
my
to
vault.
qualify to the season finals. But if you over-index into that second series, you might just get eliminated in this first
All
one.
right, so what do we have here? We have Send Spellbook. I do it. Okay. And then Polish Mount again. Damn. So it sucks because, damn, this is so funny. It's just the same as everything, man. Nexus Point legs? Fuck. Nexus Point. Worst by far, yeah. All right, so whoever wins this series has to go against Polish Mountain, and then they're getting smoked. So we'll see what happens.
That's going to really be make or break for them in even claiming that second spot that's still waiting there to move ahead to the Season 1 finals. Now, it does look like we're going to be able to take a little bit of a deeper look at some of the damage that came in, and we'll peek at it right now. There you go, Tunnels. Do you want to break down a bit of that in addition to what you were talking about?
So people, we'll talk
The
about
damn!
the shaman damage on Core Warden during that damage amp, during that Light Scar flare. Look at this augmentation evoker damage.
Augmentation is
500,000
disgusting.
DPS to the boss. I think that the augmentation evoker, in conjunction with the elemental shaman, both of those specializations together, is really what enables
Aug is disgusting, bro.
that damage amp. And I think that being able to put the Breath of Eons on the boss and have that pop for percentage of the damage taken during that damage amp, you're basically doubling and multiplying the effect of that damage amp. And that's really, I think that those two specializations together is what allows that one phase to be possible. Aug is so OP. Like, that spec is ridiculous right now.
You know, it's honestly great, though, in the speedrunning formats, because I think we get to see them pull off some things that otherwise you would just never see happen, which is amazing. And the spec variety rule still keeps it fresh. So
Aug
we'll
is
see
disgusting.
Even more of this continue to
Yep, spec variety rule, baby. Even though Aug is disgusting, guess what? It's gonna get banned.
get to check them out and see who makes
You
it
can't
through
play
the
it
lower
all three
bracket and who
games.
gets eliminated in just a few minutes. But first, we're going to take a quick break.
Can't play it all 3 games, bro. All right, we're taking a quick break here. Quick little break, of course. You ever be rerolling Dragon? You should, man. Be an Aug. Be a Guardian main and an Aug alt. Those should be your specs, man. So good, man. So good, guys. Two and a half minutes. We're kind of speeding through this. That was the first series. It took an hour. That ain't bad. You guys can't see it, but I'm doing my ritual sites right now because I'm a true gamer. The grind never stops. Doing my stupid ritual sites. Is it bad that I AFK the assaults for the bag? No. I'm sure plenty of people do that, man. Sure there are plenty of people that are doing that shit. Not just you. I probably would fucking do that too. The ritual sites, I kind of like doing, so it's a bit different. But I think if I was like, let's say we're in the middle of watching one of the series, maybe I'll park my character over where they're doing the assaults. You know? Maybe during this next series, my character will mysteriously, you know, magically end up in the right zone, and then I'll just kind of hang out. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, the rituals are lit. I've done a bunch.
We are heading down to our lower bracket where elimination is on the line. This next series is Send Spellbook versus I Do It. So it's time for your predictions. Chat. Now, while you do that, we're going to be chatting here ourselves, and both of these next teams have the potential, but they need to lock in the execution. Send Spellbook had some issues yesterday, Makes. Where do you think they're at coming into the group finals?
So, I actually talked to Royben a little bit, and while I was trying to figure out where their missed count in the Magister's War was, I got a message from Sky, their tank, telling me, poor stream, this morning my monitor broke, and it cut an hour of our practice time. So, good news. It broke now already. It can't broke during the series, right? That's you only get one per day. It should be fine now. That is out of the way. So
that is unlucky.
It happened prior to the tournament. Bad it happened at all. A little bit of time lost here on Send Spellbook, but we are going to be seeing both of our teams in the seat of the triumvirate first, and that is a dungeon.
He punched Monitor, maybe he raged out, and that's the story that he's trying to tell us.
I Do It did lose when they went up against Mandatory. Now you might make an argument of saying, well, Makes, they went up against Mandatory. Yes, but it doesn't matter for the statistic. They lost that map, and Send Spellbook won theirs. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Makes, I like how you said, you know, oh, it happened, you get one break or broken monitor a day, and then I'm
that's
over
how
here
tech
going,
works.
I'm like, how many monitors are you going through, Mix?
No, that's true. I've had a lot of shitty issues happen.
But I am very glad. 3, okay, all right, you just rotate them. I guess that makes sense. That checks out. But I'm glad that Sky was able
know
to
if
get
it's one
that
per day.
sorted beforehand. Unfortunately, coming at the cost of that practice time. Now, of course, you have to just kind of lock it and keep going ahead. And Zyro, I think that kind of brings us to both of these teams in general, right? They have these strengths. They have a lot that they can deliver. We know that they can deliver, but it seems like various things have been holding them back. So do you think that they can vie for that second spot as they push ahead through this lower bracket?
I mean, like Dratos was saying earlier, right? This is like the hardest spot to be in coming into day 3. You have to win both this matchup and the next one against Polish Mountain in order to be one of the top 2 teams. So they have a lot of work ahead of them. I think both of these teams do have the strengths in their skill set to potentially be one of our top 2 teams, but it's just really hard to do. And they both have consistency issues that they showed off yesterday that need to have been solved
they have a rough time.
in less than 24 hours, which like isn't very realistic. Like obviously they could have practiced.
Polish
for this
and
matchup,
mandatory
but
just seem to be,
you have to remember they've been practicing for this weekend for probably a few weeks.
a bit
beforehand.
ahead.
And if they're still having consistency issues in the matchups on Friday and Saturday, is that really going to change on Sunday? We'll have to find out. I think for me personally, based off of what we've seen this weekend, I think Sin Spellbook is slightly favored in this matchup. But I said the same thing about I Do It yesterday, where I think that they should be better. And they looked a lot better in games 2 and 3 of their last series. So, I don't know. I think this is a pretty close matchup.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Zyro, honestly, chat feels the same as you. We were sitting there for a second, that it's pretty even, but just a little bit more towards Sense Spellbook. Now, we'll get to do our own predictions here as well. So, we'll start things off. You know, Dratnos, what do you think? Are you kind of feeling the same? Are you leaning towards
I Do It was our squad. That
Yeah,
was the
I'm
team we
gonna
were
throw
rooting
Sense
for. One of them.
2-0.
We'll have to go with them. We'll have to go with them.
All these NA
They're the underdog.
casters abandoning I Do It. What the hell happened
know,
to the
I
American
know.
freedom dream? What are you guys saying?
I think they're going to be free
Can we get
to
some
use the rest
Eagles
of their
creatures
weekend.
in here?
You know, they'll be free to go
Crazy.
outside.
We need I Do It.
Not have to practice.
We need I Do It to
anymore,
win.
They'll be all done.
Yeah.
Nah,
That's our
not
team.
right.
Makes,
right.
I mean, you aren't NA, but what, are you saying you're going to back I Do It?
I'm gonna say 2-1 Sense Spellbook because of course I'm
What?
an EU favorite. Duh.
Yeah,
like,
she
I'm
hyped it up.
expecting These guys.
She
to
hyped
do
it up for
better.
nothing.
All right, Zyro, are you going to bring it back for NA? Where is your prediction going?
Hell no, 2-0 Sin Spellbook. Like, listen, it's a choice between being right or having North American pride, and I'd much rather be right.
crazy.
I'm pretty sure that's the same case for you, Dratnos, right?
I mean, I would never make a biased decision. I'm just always making a pure
I
analytical
don't think
one.
it's that clear cut, you guys.
It's nice to know that Makes is just picking based off of regional favoritism, but you know, I'm here just looking at the World of Warcraft, looking at the gameplay.
Absolutely, the
sure you
stats, the
do.
numbers, Mathnos' specialty. Yeah, I mean,
Mathnos.
look, Makes, you did shame me a little bit. I do love I Do It. I want to root for them. There's nothing that I want more than to see
Damn,
them like,
everyone's against
hop
our team.
over and just like
Okay.
defeat Sun
if
Spellbook
you
and claim that
finished
victory.
a sentence with a 2
Yeah, so this is
zeros,
it's an international. It's an international, yeah. So they do time trials, and then based on the time trials, they qualify and get put into a group stage, which is what we're watching now. So it's a combination, yeah. It's not just NA or EU.
One in favor of
Ooh.
Spellbook.
You backed
Oh,
off.
that's
I know we
crazy.
know you
That
wanted
is
to say
messed
it.
up. I Do It is not that bad, you guys.
They're not.
This is
Okay,
way
you know
too
what?
one-sided from
Fine,
y'all.
fine. I'll swap it. 2-1 in favor of I Do It. Because I do think that they can do it. And I love a little Underfrog story. I think they are cute. I like their logo. And also, honestly, I think that this team, they have had so much passion coming into this. Shindig said, we want to be in there. We want to be in the top 2. And even though they didn't quite have as much time as they wanted to prep coming in, these are players that can do it. And I think that we've already seen some good plays from them, some good rogue plays, and I think as well, they can pull this off. Now, Sense Spellbook, they are some pretty intense competition, though. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Zyro.
Yeah, listen, if I do win this series, I will be more than happy for them. And
Sure you will.
I
That's
mean,
what
I'll
everyone
be a little upset 'cause
says.
my predictions got messed up, and I'll
That's
probably
what everyone
lose my
says.
spot at the top of the leaderboard up there with chat. But hey, listen, I'm more than happy to see teams exceed my expectations because that hasn't happened a whole lot, over the years of the MDI. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully they can show something in this matchup that we haven't really seen from them all weekend, right? They've just really been consistent in some of their matchups, Mix, right? I don't think we've seen anything from I Do It that has really kind of wowed
we're
us so
in.
far. Actually, I take that back. In the Windrunner Spire, they had a couple interesting picks with the Rogue, but ever since then it's been kind of par for the course. But we're already into the Seed of Triumvirate here, and both teams automatically, right off the bat, going for this quad subjugator pull.
Okay.
That's right. And
What are we
this is
playing? We're both playing Prot
extremely
Warrior
scary
first. What the hell?
pull. Do not copy this, chat. I feel mandated to tell you this.
So what we have seen is people like Prot Warrior because of the third boss, because the third boss spams cast on you and you can reflect it. I guess we're playing Prot Warrior. Interesting. What DPS? Both playing Ellie. Okay, so it's pretty similar but different healer, and we have a DK instead of a we have a DK and a Demo lock. Okay.
Best voids, because once they are killed, they have a puddle underneath them. You can see it on the right hand side here, and that grows. So you need to be aware of where they are. And just as I'm saying it, Skilly goes down to it as that puddle just grew next to him, wasn't aware of it, and gets hit.
Listen, I don't want to say it's a trend, but I think we've seen Skilly die to that exact same thing twice when he was playing a Rep Paladin before. So it's a little unfortunate that continues to be a mistake for I Do It, but that is their one and only battle res gone. If they have another death to anything on this boss, they're just going to have to 2 DPS the rest of the encounter here. While we're looking at the boss HP slowly tick down here, we can take a moment to take a look at the team comps for both of the teams' makes. We're seeing both of them opt for the Prot Warrior, which is really good if we've identified in this dungeon, specifically for Spell Reflex all throughout the dungeon, but most notably on the third boss. Just does so much damage on that boss. The only DPS difference we're seeing is in the choice of third damage dealer, right? It's DK versus Warlock here.
That's
DK
right, and
Lock.
I'm of course going to be a little bit biased in favor of that DK, but I will say the Warlock in a dungeon as wide as the Seed of Triumvirate is really nice. You can do a lot with the Warlock portal. I'm a little bit interested on how Sen Spellbook is going to deal with the skip that we've seen most teams do prior to that penultimate boss, but we'll take a look at how that works out once we get there. For I Do It, we will probably just see them sigil, walk by, and then use that Warlock portal up, which has become kind of a very common way to skip it. Since Spellbook might need to cook a little bit, but for now, they're the first team to finish out the boss here. On top of not having the additional 15 seconds of death penalty, let's see how the rest of the routing in this dungeon looks like for them. Notably, Mandatory did go right, like very far right out of the gate here, but if I remember correctly, Sen Spellbook does not do that. I think they're just going to go straight ahead and tag that very first pack that you see.
Yeah, neither of the teams did that in the runs that we saw from them earlier this weekend, and it looks like they're not changing their strategy here on the side of Sen Spellbook. It'd be a little bit weird. You'd have to fix your cooldown cadence and completely figure out a new way to route the dungeon, so it makes sense that they're going to go for the similar strategy. I think the thing that we've been seeing most differently whenever teams come back to a dungeon later on in the weekend is we're seeing sort of like a comp swap based off of where the dungeon lies in the pool of dungeons they've been given. Like, for instance, for I Do It, I mentioned Skilly played Red Paladin in this dungeon.
Warrior takes so much
in one of their previous runs this weekend. They've swapped that for a Warlock here. Maybe they don't feel like the Warlock has a place in any of the dungeons later in the series, so they're going to use it in this dungeon and save the Ret Paladin for a later dungeon. It's interesting seeing teams kind of play around that spec ban rule and kind of change their picks a lot more fluidly than we've seen in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really liking seeing, even with that series we just saw, where it kind of became very clear on the first map that their game plan was to go 2-1, right? Because that's when you then try to mostly sack your first map to have the specs that you really want in map 2 and 3. But for these teams, I don't think any of that is showing up in their current setup. We, of course, know that Prot Warrior is so good on boss 3 and 4, like we mentioned before. That Spell Reflect is going to do a lot for them. But for now, they will need to get through a bunch of trash here. A notable mob to kind of look out for is the Shadow Guard champion, which is also why you're not seeing Ozzy start to run right now. He needs to finish out that champion before he can bring distance between him. Last second stun there, making sure he's not going to get that bleed applied onto him. These champions can just absolutely destroy a tank whenever they're too far. You're seeing it here. 2 of them onto Quasi out of the immediate, was too far away, is able to survive that, but you can only do that so many times. And if there's any additional AoE damage that's unavoidable that's going out, which of course happens in these packs as well from the Void Caller, then you're starting to look at some problems. Another charge coming in on the left hand side there, that champion 1 HP, but it does hit Sky regardless.
Now, it's important to mention, we mentioned Sin Spellbook did not change their strategy on the direction they're pulling.
Spellbook ahead on
but I do it
percentage.
They actually did opt for the mandatory strategy where they go back to the right to that Rift Warden first. So they're going to gain a little bit of time over Sin Spellbook just based off of their progression of the dungeon, right? When they kill off the third Rift Warden, they're going to be a lot closer to
Yeah,
where
they
that
got to
third
run
boss
more.
room is. But Sin Spellbook should get there first, right? They killed the first boss off about 30
gotta
seconds
run there more.
faster than I do it. I actually didn't see on Skilly's death if that happened in one of those Dominion of Argus windows. If so, that would make a lot of sense. It kind of just stops the Warlock's damage dead in its tracks. All of their pet summons go away. They don't really they have to go back into their demon cycle as well, so they lose a ton of damage whenever they die. So it makes sense that their boss split was so much slower. But I think they can claw back a little bit of time here, since Spellbook only just now killing off that third Rift Warden. Now they have to run all the way back towards that third boss room. I think they're still going to get there a few
Yeah, they got to do a
seconds
lot
ahead,
of
but I do
running.
they get to make up a little bit of time here.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's exactly why we think that the route you're seeing on I Do It screen, and we also saw from Mandatory, is just faster because it cuts down on the walking time. And generally, in the MDI, you don't want to ever be just walking for 10 seconds.
They've done this
That's
route
10 seconds
twice
you could
now.
have
I wonder
been
why.
doing damage, and that's obviously so much more worth. I will say, though, since Spellbook now in the correct place, and that means we will get in fight with Saprish pretty soon. This is notably a boss that we don't see a lot of teams add anything onto. That's because it's kind of messy. There's a lot of orbs. You need to make sure you really get those interrupts onto Shadewing as
This
well.
boss sucks.
There's a lot of damage that goes out on top of that, so adding anything else on top of that feels extremely scary, but it can be done as long as you're not going too crazy with it. So let's see how these teams are going to be approaching that as we are inching closer and closer towards that boss pool.
Something else I want to keep an eye on over the course of the dungeon is, like, we already talked about the DPS difference, but the healer difference as well, right? It's physical debuff versus Mark of the Wild, and on top of that, we've kind of identified in the past that Resto Druids can kind of spec into this more damage-focused build if they choose to. This dungeon is one of those dungeons where we saw it pulled off, where the Resto Druid is kind of doing similar damage to an Ogvoker and pretty close to one of the tanks as well. But I haven't really seen Norcom kind of popping off on the damage meters on any of these pulls just yet, so maybe they're not really hard focused on that. Either way, I Do It has now engaged the second boss, maybe about 20 seconds slower than what we saw from Sin Spellbook, but that does mean that they've made up about 10 seconds, which is pretty useful in the grand scheme of things. Like, that death was pretty bad on the first boss, but they're definitely not out of it, right? Makes they're keeping it within distance of a potential mistake from Sin Spellbook here.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, there's always a lot more that can happen in the tail end of that dungeon as well, right? We all know how the Seed of the Triumvirate ends. Allura is a little bit of a messy boss, and that giant pull that they're going to be doing right before that penultimate boss is also a major, major pain point for a lot of teams. And as you can see right now, we're getting a pretty nice comparison between the two of them. Trash counts, pretty even, tiny difference there, around 0.6 percentage.
Wow, I Do It actually caught up, but I mean, they just have a death, so.
Then when you look at the boss's HP, that really
They caught
tells
up a
you
decent
everything
amount, but they do have a
you need to know.
death,
If
which
from
is
here
not
on
good.
out,
I did watch the
Sen
fights, yeah.
Spellbook can keep
I
it
did.
as cleanly
They were great.
as they have thus far. It might very well
Surprisingly,
go to them.
good night.
That's not a given. We've seen both of
Really
these
good
teams
night.
have a couple of issues prior in their runs.
John
There's
Strickland is
been a
just the
little
goat,
bit
I
of
guess. He's just the fucking
inconsistencies
goat.
here and there, and that skip that's coming up right after the boss is certainly one that has caused some issues for a lot of our teams as well.
Big money on that, I don't bet,
Spellbook,
dude.
as you're
I don't
now
sports bet.
finishing out this boss, this is where we should be
I'm
looking
not a sports
to
better.
try and see if everything goes right for them here. As
I do know
they
people that
gather
do, though,
next
and they
map.
lost a lot of money.
I mean, it was Sin Spellbook, right, in the very first dungeon of the weekend that had issues on this next skip past this Devourer, where the tank pulls it off to the side.
I mean,
and they shadow
35%
melt.
ahead.
They ended up having a death
Okay.
to that. Just one, but it ended up costing them a little bit of time in that run in the long run. So let's see if they can pull it off cleanly this time. They have a lot of room, actually. I think they've accelerated pretty far ahead of I Do It, killing the boss off a lot faster than I Do It. They were only 20% ahead when I Do It pulled the boss, but by the time they killed the boss off, they were 30% ahead. So they opened that gap a little bit this time around. Looks like the skip goes well for them. Need to find a way to get past these Void Infused Destroyers as well. It's going to be pulling them off to the side with a
Oh, I
Misery
like
Sigil
this.
on the pack of 5. Going to be running around the wall, and then once his teammates get through, he'll use a Shadow Meld of his own. little bit weird timing.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
You can just,
So
I think you can melt
double melt to get
Oh,
this one
his melt is
together.
weird. He
You
might
can see
die.
Winnie there for a second, scared. Didn't
Holy
know if he
shit.
was able to walk on back. So the way it works is Sky walks to the right, gets in fight, allows the team to pass, then melts off.
This guy
that
DC'd.
first pack, but then goes down to the destroyer here. This
Offline.
is one of the mobs that you just want to get under
No,
control.
they had a
but
DC.
right, we're seeing that
They had a
offline tag.
DC.
That's never a good thing. That means
Maybe
the
his
player
computer
has
crashed.
disconnected for whatever reason. Let's hope he comes back quickly. Maybe some 07s in chat or some prayers to help
Damn.
them reconnect
That
here.
sucks.
Definitely a little bit of a scary situation. Dead on screen now. That means Dan has reconnected back to the group. I wonder if that just slowed them down a little bit on how
That
they
sucks.
pulled this, or if they just said, okay, we're just going to do whatever we do as they were going through these packs. But looks like we should be able to get him back here. Are we just waiting for a natural res?
Oh, that's actually so unfortunate. That's so unfortunate.
Yeah, I think they wanted to wait till the trash pack was dead and then go for a regular res. They're saving the battle res.
Are they gonna res?
Oh, was he dead upstairs? Ah, they have to get a mass AOE res off to get him. That's a little unfortunate. Okay, well,
Okay.
that has
got him
provided
back.
a window for IDoIT to somehow get back into it, but
Okay.
since Spellbook still has to deal with this one remaining trash pack, they're going to be pulling it on top of the
Gonna
boss
pull
right
on
away.
the
Dan
boss.
dropping incredibly right off the bat, having to use Icebound
Oh,
Fortitude in
Norco.
order to keep himself up top. But yeah, Norcom goes down for IDoIT.
Oh no, IDoIT died too. Holy
The
shit.
triple Grand Shadow Weavers do have the res for him, but that means IDoIT is completely out of their battle reses.
Dude, they're
now
taking
for
so
the
many
rest of the
orbs.
Yeah, a scary situation to be in, but you'd much rather have the res here as you're going into Viceroy Nezrar. For now, as IDoIT has, for a split second, it'll look like it might equalize all
Jail
together,
tanked
but
2
then
orbs
that
there,
death
holy shit.
brought it back to the
Live,
favor
though?
of Sin Spellbook here as well. They're both onto the boss. You can see both of these teams have also saved the pack that is behind them. They will be doing that while the RP
Okay.
goes on. The
So they're
way it
still ahead
works
on
is the
boss,
healer
and
is
now
going to start
they're
that RP,
still
and the rest
one
of
death
the team
difference.
just goes and fights that pack
Okay.
to round out the percentage point that they're still missing. But on the right-hand side, we're also still seeing some additional controllers that IDoIT will need to finish off. So let's see where that actually puts them in terms of overall trash count. I don't think it brings them all the way. I think they still need to go up and pull that last pack.
Yeah, both of them are going to have to do the 2 destroyers plus the 5 pack that they skip past. So I think we're pretty much evened up here in terms of trash count and pulls left in the dungeon. Since Spellbook clearly still has the advantage, even with that unfortunate disconnect upstairs. As long as they can just send it home, they should be at an advantage. They still also have that 1 death timer advantage too. So even if IDoIT does finish the dungeon first, there's going to be a 15-second window where Sin Spellbook could catch up and kill off the final boss beforehand. I
Okay.
think this is really all going to come down to how well that last damage push on Lura goes, because we've seen some teams not actually kill the boss off within the damage window. They've had some, in some cases upwards of
I mean, they do have the
10-15%
shaman.
of the boss's HP gone, which can take an extra 20 or 30 seconds.
They
to
do have a
kill off
shaman
without
and they have a
damage amp.
dev. They have lust for last
If one
boss.
of the teams kills the boss in the damage amp and the other doesn't, that right there could
Oh, they both
make
have
the
it, though.
difference in this dungeon.
Absolutely. Could
And
be. Let's see how
the
it
IDoIT
goes
has a
for Sin
druid.
Spellbook as
That verse
Viceroy
buff, dude.
Nazar does
That's
go
gotta
down
matter.
for them here. Here comes the splitting of the team. So Wernstone has probably.
Oh, they gotta go
don't
back and
have
get
an
that pack?
Octopoker, so
Okay.
Roman will just need to run on over while the
So
rest of the
IDoIT's still
team
behind, too.
deals with those
Guess it just depends on
voids. Hold on.
how.
Shella is here.
much
Royden
time they
is
can
here,
make up.
Looney is here. Is it? Nope. Dan is
Bro,
here
this
as well.
DK needs
Did
to not
anybody
die.
start the RP? Are we starting the RP?
You can start it pretty quickly. Maybe they're going to do it at the end.
Not
I don't
that
know
quickly,
if they have started
though.
it yet. Yeah, it was definitely too fast for them
Maybe-
to be here already. Well, Robin could have dropped a port up here.
Maybe
but
Royden
no,
could
they're
have
going now.
port. Yeah, I think
They're
that's the
going now.
case.
Okay.
There she is on her way to start the RP. In the meantime, IDoIT is finishing out as well. So you can
Okay.
see on top of the 15 timer differential that we have because of the deaths, they're also just a good chunk behind on the overall dungeon progression. For them, Morg is going to be the one that will clear it out, and then they have that Warlock portal set to allow the rest of the team catch back up. That doesn't mean this last pack is without any danger. You can see Shella dropping a little bit lower here as well, while the healer is not present. That means the team
Okay.
just needs to be extra careful, but a great job they've done.
IDoIT's doing the same
now,
there
and
on
they're their
percentage,
way
last
to
pack.
Laura. Like you mentioned, they will need to be able to
They're
one
so
phase it.
far
That's
behind,
why
though.
both of these teams also saving that lust to really make sure in that additional burn phase they can just full send it into boss and hopefully claw this one out.
Yeah, it's going to require nearly a perfect push, and it's not as easy as just like pressing your cooldowns during the damage up either, right? Both of these teams are playing that Devourer or Demon Hunter, who has like about a 40-second damage window on their Void meta. So what you actually want to do is you want to press that Void meta about 15
Try to start the
20
boss.
seconds
Let's see.
before the damage amp actually starts. That way you're at the highest damage point possible near the end of your Void meta when you have those haystacks stacked up from gathering all the souls during your Void meta. You have to time it perfectly. We've seen most of our players pull that off perfectly, but
Oh,
it's one
wait.
of those extra
What the
things at
fuck?
the end of a grueling dungeon that you can kind of make a mistake with. Take a look at Sin Spellbook's positioning here. We've identified this a couple
Oh,
of
it's just
times.
kind of bad. Fucking Gel doesn't have his. He's not gonna have Ascendance for that phase.
Going to be able to take
Or
out
no,
two
maybe
of
he
those
will.
chimes with one of those discordant beams. That doesn't let you.
It
get
might
the
come up
damage
just in
any
time.
faster, but what it does do is it makes it so the damage that stacks
30
up
seconds?
on the
Yeah, he
group
should make it,
while
okay.
The boss is pulsing here.
I was gonna say, that'd be
Chorus,
really bad.
You only stack it 2 at a time rather than 3 at a time, so it's less healing that is required from Roybin, and they can get more damage out of their healer and get the boss lower before that damage app occurs.
Okay,
it's
I do
one
it,
of
start the
those
boss.
Rare times
Okay.
where you're actually voluntarily helping the healer.
Here comes the
It's
ice.
pretty seldom in any of those keys, but this is one of them for sure. Here come the second
Alright,
round.
and now they're gonna
of
lust.
Those frontals, and Symphony of the Eternal Night has been achieved. That means that burn
Lust
is
it up.
coming
Ascendance
in
is gonna be perfectly
already.
timed. Let's see.
Bloodlust being used here as
Let's see if they can burn it one time.
tries to one phase
Stormkeeper
Laura.
Ascendance.
Down it goes, shrinking. Here comes that damage.
Oh my
Everything
God.
being
Oh
sent.
my God.
Are we taking a couple more seconds there on Dan? It looks like, but should be sent any minute now. Maybe just waiting for an overlap with the T.
Why would
It
Dan
isn't
not
just
fucking
ready
army
yet,
here?
But that cost him quite a bit. Laura is still on 10.
Wait, why would he not army there? Is that bad to do?
Up, but should be good enough for the team to finish it out here.
Yeah, if it was any higher than this, there was maybe a chance for IDO, but they aren't even in the damage.
Okay, yeah,
The
they got
cast
it.
hasn't even started yet.
Yeah, they're
Sin
done.
Spellbook has gotten the boss
Doesn't even
low enough.
matter.
And remember, they have that 15-second time
Prime.
buffer. Anyways, if IDO, we're somehow able to
Alright,
one-shot
Spellbook
the
map
boss here,
one.
which is not
And they had a
going to
cheese
happen.
death and
Sin
DC, so
Spellbook takes game 1.
worked out.
I do it on elimination point.
You know, since
We did
Spellbook-
see,
Oh, yes, yes.
just a quick note, or sorry, we did see that army go on cooldown towards the end there, so it was just bugging on the cooldown reset. It's all good.
Okay. Good fix. Good catch. Now, everybody, since
Okay, it's just a
Spellbook
bug.
is giving
Good.
all of you who weighed
Gonna
this
say,
series
that's
in their favor
fucking weird.
validation for rooting for them. They took that first map, getting the first point in our best of 3. And makes, you were just adding a little bit of information there, but our first map of the series is done. So how do you think it ultimately went for the teams?
I think the death on the very first boss for I Do It is extremely unfortunate for the reasons that Zyra lined out. I think a lot of damage was lost there, but they were also the team that was just a little bit slower to pull that first boss as well. So they were just kind of playing from behind from the very start, which is interesting when you think about it just all together. But I don't know if Dratnos has some extra
Back to the Lion King song?
intel on this. I thought the route from I Do It was actually better than the one we saw from Sin Spellbook.
Yeah, there was a lot
Yeah,
of
I don't know
pathing
why
that
we're
I
doing
thought
this,
was pretty
like,
solid out
weird
of Team I Do It. We did see a couple of deaths.
Routes. I feel
Representing
like they do a lot of
the
running.
time gap between the two teams, which is, of course, it makes it hard to directly compare. So here we can see on this first boss, look at the Warlock there. Just unfortunately, as that puddle grows into where he is, and then he has to dodge out of the way of that frontal, ends up going down there. That definitely cost quite a bit of time. Something that I did want to talk about, though, there are some nice things that both teams were able to do. First of all, look at the damage that Roybin's putting out here on this Mistweaver Monk in this pull, this AoE. Actually doing pretty substantial damage throughout the entire dungeon on Mistweaver here. And this is a consistent theme throughout pretty much the whole place, right? She's just spinning, doing huge amounts of extra damage. So that's definitely maybe something that that explains part of how Sin Spellbook were moving a little bit more quickly through the dungeon. If you think like makes and I think I as well agree that I Do It maybe had some better pulls right planned out for this dungeon, some better pathing. Something that they had to do as well. Sin Spellbook, of course, nearly having a death as they set up that skip with the Shadow Melt over to the side, and then having a death on their DK with looked like maybe a disconnect involved as well, or maybe not.
Yep.
But definitely that death there. In the meantime, I Do It actually have this really nice. Because they have this Warlock, they can actually execute this skip a lot more quickly with that Sigil of Misery and then this Gateway. So that's a very nice piece of technology that is unlocked by having the Warlock in here, able to get this skip done a lot more quickly and a lot more safely, right? We don't see the Devourer Demon Hunter almost dying like we did for Sin Spellbook. The other thing I want to point out in here, both teams are using the Protection Warrior in this dungeon, which does have a big strength, which is this boss in particular. You can hit the Spell Reflect against the Mind Blast. Watch the boss HP after this kick comes out on the next Mind Blast. Just a huge damage nuke to the boss. Look at the damage meter even. You can see here that Warrior is going to jump up into second on the damage meter on this boss fight. And there's a lot of AoE in that pull as well. So when you add that all together, it really does help make that Prot Warrior a really strong choice for this dungeon. Already a spec that works out really nicely just in general, but on that third boss, you're just going to do 10% of the boss's health for free just by picking that Prot Warrior, and then you have a great spec to choose as one of your 3 that you lose thanks to that spec variety rule for the rest of the series.
I mean, that's a big thing as we consider what's coming up next, right? They've gotten this first map out of the way, and at least right now, Send Spellbook, they have the advantage, but I do it want to be able to even this out if they can. And our next map is going to be Skyreach, which is one that we've seen already today. But Zyro, with our specs that we've seen, and with this dungeon in particular, where do you think we're going to see our teams kind of go looking ahead?
So I think the clear switch we're probably going to see between these two dungeons will probably drop the Prot Warrior for, I would like to see Guardian Druid, just because of the giant AoE pulls that you can do in this dungeon. We already saw that shown off earlier today from Mandatory and Polish Mountain.
Mandatory and Polish Mountain. What did you say the Strickland Hamza fight?
There's a lot of good gateway skips. Started
it was good.
Up to the first boss
It was
platform is really important.
surprising,
also, the gateway
but
skip
good.
during the wind tunnel RP phase, really, really good. Make sure all 5 players in your team wait for the gateway to go down and don't try to go early. Ryoma? It's a little funny to see, but
Listen,
yeah,
listen,
it's just really
it
good in
happens to
general.
all of us. Don't pretend
Okay.
it never happened to you.
No, it's never happened to me. I'm a perfect player mix. But yeah, there it is. The Prot Warrior is gone. Since Spellbook loses the Devourer, which I think is interesting. I think it's going to be really good in this key. But it looks like it's going to keep the Devourer for this key, which means I feel like they're going to have a better comp for this key.
Yeah, Send Spellbook get to keep that Mistweaver, which is really nice, right? If they had lost their healer like I Do It did, then that would be the Mistweaver going away. The Og Evoker is an option for both teams as well, which I expect we will see in this dungeon. So, yeah, it's interesting ban field. I do think I like I Do It's setup a little bit better, what they have access to.
No, the
going
class
into this
already
dungeon.
played get banned. Yes.
Okay, I mean,
Keep in mind, Send Spellbook
So
also
they banned, like,
won the first map. So if they can take this one,
They banned,
it's
like,
gonna be over,
the most
whereas
played
I Do It
specs
will
that
need
they-
to
that they
reverse
play.
sweep. I'm not
They have
sure
to
how
ban.
much teams plan this out on, like, what if we win this and what if we go to third map, but I think they should. I think they should have a plan for, like, if we win, this is what we ban and play, and then if we lose, this is what we ban and play, because it really matters for that third map whether or not you have access to a Guardian Druid, to an Augmentation Evoker, right? Those classes really matter, so...
I'm not saying it's a trend, but I Do It have played 3 series already this weekend, and 2 of them they reverse swept, so... You know?
see,
Maybe they could
Zyro,
do it
look,
again.
I'm not just saying it because Makes guilted me into voting their way. I'm kidding. I genuinely love cheering for I Do It. But they do have that comeback sort of like streak that I think is there waiting for them. And if they do have a composition like we were just talking about that seems like it could be a little bit stronger as we go into Skyreach, if they're able to, again, just kind of tighten up some of these strategies and really execute them well, I think Send Spellbook, they are going to have their work cut out for them. Now, this will be game 2, Send Spellbook versus I Do It here in Skyreach. Send Spellbook has 1 point on the board. If they take this one, they take the series, but we'll see if they're able to land it. Makes
Yes, we are going to be seeing exactly how our teams are going to be routing through this. So interestingly enough, you can see the team from Send Spellbook waiting back there. They
All right, we
already
get a
have
17
the Warlock portal
Skyreach
up.
again.
We're also seeing it from I Do It as well.
See how
and
this
the
goes.
entire team now comes back in to Sky, who has gathered basically everything he could find on his way to the boss's platform here. On the right-hand side, it looks like something, yeah, there we go. It was still missing, but they are incoming right now as the teams are getting ready here. I do like the gathering from Send Spellbook just a tiny bit better because obviously if everything's there from the start, you can also just DPS everything from the start, but I'm not sure it should matter here for I Do It since they will be able to start the boss just a couple seconds later and should be able to finish out the rest of the mobs, given that they started immediately. It took a couple more seconds to get in fight with Ranjit, but now both teams are.
Yeah,
Ranjit.
I mean,
Ooh,
this is one of the
Roybin
dungeons
died.
that both of the teams should be super practiced
The
on.
fuck?
Oh, I gotta take a second
good.
there as Roybin does actually end up going down to
Roybin.
the coalesced win from Ranjit
Not
there.
good.
Almost
Not good.
one-shotting her, as a matter of fact. That's their battle res gone and the lust gone on their healer as well. They're going to lose a little bit of damage because of that. We already identified last dungeon.
Not good.
Especially where Monk actually can put in a decent bit of work and make these bosses a little bit faster. So they've lost a little bit of that damage. They've also lost that safety net. They don't have the battle res for the next 9 minutes of the dungeon makes, so we'll have to keep an eye on that for Sin Spellbook. They really need to play perfect from here on out. Any further mistakes could be the end for them. Both teams also have a couple stragglers of trash coming in at the last
took a little
moment
risk
that
there.
they're going to be able to cleave down with the boss. Just a little bit of added efficiency.
Just a
but
little
again, like, it seems like
bit
this
of
has
a
been a
risk, I
trend
would
for this
say.
matchup. Sin Spellbook just seems like they're a little bit faster, a little bit more clean on their pulls, and it shows when we get to the boss and they're about 10% ahead.
Well, we are getting an equalizer here as Morkweaver does go down to one of the dread wins. So wins taking, no prisoners left and right. Both of the teams now down to one
death each.
as well as 0 battle resses for the next
death
8
each.
minutes. That is something we'll need to keep in mind.
No B-res.
Especially looking towards that second boss, looking at our melee players. You know, you can easily get frontaled
Not
on
good.
that boss if some of them are a little bit unfortunate. So we'll need to take a closer look at that once we're actually getting there. But before we do, I'm really curious on whether or not any of these teams have the same tech prepared that we saw from Mandatory, where this boss has 2 entrances. So you can go left and you can go right to get into the room with the construct. And it doesn't really matter much which side you go to, but Mandatory added in the other side into their pre-boss trash as well. And I'm curious if either I do it or Sin Spellbook have something similar prepared here. So let's
People have
really
dungeon
make sure
killing
we
it that
take a
fast. Yeah,
look
it's MDI,
as
man.
they are finishing out Renji,
They do
where
dungeons
they're
in like 12
walking,
minutes.
especially where the healer is walking, because I would assume that's usually the
Like
one
the
who
top
wants
teams are doing
to
dungeons
tag in
in
that extra mob.
12 minutes. Like they're doing 17s in 15 minutes.
Even after the death here for Sin Spellbook, let's take a look at their pull. And yes, they are doing both sides here. Makes identifying the double solar elemental pull, so have to keep an eye on those orbs as they spawn. Need to kill them quickly so your group doesn't end up going down to any extra pulsing damage and heals don't go off on the group. That Guardian Druid is going to come in clutch on these massive pulls, though. Take a look at the damage from Sky there, almost keeping up with the damage dealers in
That's how
their
fast I do it with my
cooldowns.
teams. There you go.
Only just
Should've
now
signed up.
falling off as they start to ramp up.
Should've
But
signed
the
up.
pull is not over yet. This is a constant threat type of pull where you're constantly making sure you're getting interrupts, doing perfect AoE stops, but it looks like Sin Spellbook have gotten away with this pull. I do it now going for the pull of their own. They're playing it a lot safer, though. Take a look at the Imprison plus Paralyze on the right side. They're not going for everything at the same time.
That's right, they're not.
Am I taking this to
but
South again? I hope
Sin
so.
Spellbook is also not electing to do the version that we saw from Mandatory, where they tagged the pack into this room here, allowing
hope
that
so, dude.
first solar orb to spawn outside, saving you some of the damage, right? If you don't need to DPS it, if you're line of sighting it, you're not taking any damage from it either, so you can just fully ignore it, which Sin Spellbook actually just elected to play it right there and then, meaning they had
Went
to
to 2 games
DPS
last season,
those
Bucks and
orbs down.
Seahawks. Damn.
Still, well done, as
jealous,
they have
dude.
taken that pack down. I
I wanted to go to
meantime,
one of the
have now
games
added
this
back in
season. I just
two mobs you
couldn't
called out
make
that
it.
we're
I wanted to go to the
CC
Dolphins game.
side, but that certainly is a much slower approach to this double pack
Couldn't
than
make it.
what we saw from Sin Spellbook here. I would agree, as they're now not even allowed to go in just yet. It just opened. So it
Virginia.
took them a little bit longer to even open.
I was busy the same
But
weekend.
they are dragging that
unfortunately.
crash in, and they are going for the same pull that we saw for Mandatory.
Unfortunately.
Triple solar construct, every single mob in the room.
Come on, embarrass
so
these
we'll have
guys.
to see if
Yeah,
they're
it makes
able to pull
sense.
this off cleanly. Either
Why do they start with the 17 and with the 15? I don't know, because sometimes they start with the 15, sometimes they start with 16. I think they vote on it or something. I don't actually know why they do that.
make sure they're healing through these channels from those
We're on the
solar
VA line?
constructs
Oh, shit.
on their individual players too. It's a lot of danger for Norcom there, but it looks like they're doing a good job of it so far.
Yep, absolutely. They need to make sure that they're safe and steady here. It's very much a little bit of a job for the healer, and you can see right here, right now, those frontals need to stay out of. Their hitbox is a little bit tricky, so it's a little further than what you can actually see because it aids out into transparency, just something to pay attention to if you haven't
look at
been
what
into
Shelly's
this
doing.
dungeon just yet.
See what Shelly's doing in the background. He's running in and out of the solar beams. This is actually some tech that I think Megasat posted this on Twitter. It's something that a lot of different classes in the game can do, where when you go constantly in and out of the beam permacasting, it doesn't actually end up doing any damage because it's swapping targets every time. It does a damage on
Why
like
they do 20s?
time-based
Well, because
tick.
this is
Yeah, it
just
does,
If
like-
you're constantly
this is just the
swapping,
rules.
it
They
doesn't
do
any
these. I
damage.
don't
So
know.
that's interesting tech. Is Shelly going to do it again here? Oh, he can actually go between both beams here. Yeah, dude, get a POV of Shelly here. This is insane. This is
Wow,
really, really
that's
smart tech.
crazy. Yeah, look at this. The team is not taking any damage. So neither the person that was soaking nor Shelly is
They just do these. They do 15,
16,
16, 17. They try to do it as fast as possible.
See from them utilized here. The
As
right-hand
fast
side, a
as
more
possible.
traditional approach to Arachnath. As I do it is dealing with that boss now as well.
No, it's
You can
pretty
see on
cool.
the
It's been
percentages
pretty
we're
fun to
back in, but
watch.
look at this. Here's Shella doing it again. The Living Flame cast just in between, wiggling back and forth. That Drakthir able to free cast while moving and is utilizing it to
You know where
the
Mount
max.
Airy is?
Very,
I
very
do not.
cool.
Where is that?
And that means Roybin just gets to RSK away, do all the damage she needs to do, and not worry about healing the group. And check out how far
Nice
ahead
little
Sin
rescue.
Spellbook is after these, right? This is ridiculous. 40% of a boss HP bar ahead. And we're a little more over halfway into the dungeon, but still very, very impressive gameplay out of the squad here. They've definitely cleaned up that gameplay that we saw from them earlier in the weekend. This is what this team needs to look like if they want to have a chance of taking out Polish Mountain, if they are able to make it through this series. Looking good for them so far, Mix.
Yeah, Spellbook's pretty
It
far ahead
is.
here.
I'm curious if we're going to be seeing this team also tank those Searing Quells on our next boss as they're
Pretty
just
far
pushing
ahead
out
here.
those Sun Talon Tamers right now. It is a lot of damage, particularly on a 17, right? That they will need to heal, but it allows you so much more uptime to actually deal with that boss. So let's see how that goes. Of course, no Bloodlust for another 3 minutes, and I assume that lust will be used for that penultimate pull of the dungeon, where we'll see them go really big prior to the boss. But that first Searing Quill should be coming in momentarily. Sunbreak
Momentarily.
arrives first. That Sunwing is CC'd, stunned. Make sure it just gets cleaved onto. Nicely done with that Ring of Peace here as well. And Rukran should be casting any second now. We saw other teams just stand there and tank it, be brave, be strong, and send Spellbook do that as well.
I feel like they're going to be so practiced on this, they'll do it as well. Yeah, they're not line of sighting the Searing Quills. We're perfectly happy sitting here standing at AMZ down. Personals across the board. Look at the health bars for them. Unresolved IBF, Scales, and Bruise all being used to tank that damage. No issue for them whatsoever. Health bars didn't even drop for them.
Yeah, Bears
Very,
do a
very
ton of
simple
damn.
to deal with, and that way they get full
Bears
damage uptime
crank,
on the
dude.
boss. And the gap has been opened up once again. 40% ahead on the second boss, now closer to 60% ahead on the third. Sin Spellbook is just not letting off the gas pedal.
Bears crank, man.
Playing this dungeon.
That's why we see all these people play
perfectly so far.
Guardian.
But we
They
do
just
know, like,
blast.
the hardest pull of the dungeon is coming up here if they opt to go for it, right? We saw Mandatory do an absolutely ridiculous pull onto the last boss platform. It looks like that is a potential make or break point of the dungeon should either of these teams choose to go for it. It almost seems like it would have to go for it to catch up at this point, so we'll have to see if they're able to pull it off. But for the time being, both teams still have to deal with the remaining HP on Rukran.
Well, that also implies that they have that prepared, that they know they're this far behind. I'm not sure that is the case for iDude, but we'll see how it goes. I thought when you said the hardest part of the dungeon is coming up, you meant that wind puzzle. Because
Well-
that is certainly the next thing that is waiting for Send Spellbook, so all eyes on them. Can they make it through cleanly? A nice little thing you can do is just wait to get knocked up. If you're a DK, you can just
Frisbee's Battlestar
4C
Galactica?
up, and you don't need to worry about anything. Dan is saying, I don't care. We also have a Warlock portal up there, and Send Spellbook has defeated
Exactly.
the Wind Boss.
Exactly.
Now, something that we're seeing from a lot of our teams is not actually clicking this Wind Orb, which is relevant to a certain extent. Because if anything
Look at the
should happen
Wurnstone,
on this
dude. So
really
disgusting,
hard pull
man.
that you're seeing right here, right now, then that means
So
they spawn all
disgusting,
the way
dude.
back there if they cannot utilize a rest or spend that first rest and another person dies. So just a tiny little thing to keep in mind here. But did you see what Dan was doing? That was really cool.
Yeah, that was super clean. But, I mean, we're just chaining all the way into the top boss room. They're doing similar pull style to Mandatory here, where literally everything is getting pulled except for the two that Dan skipped past at the start for the team.
Okay.
They have a couple mobs CC
Big final
off to the
pull?
left, so there's a couple less kicks that they have to deal with. But still, this is that pull that I was talking about. But fortunately, since Spellbook has the second
The mega
for
pull.
this pull, just
And they have
to
the Ellie
immediately
on this
burst
one,
this
too.
trash
That's
down.
disgusting.
And look at what the team is doing. They're doing 600k DPS, and this is with Migs. The first 30 seconds, they were just running in combat. So they're both easily doing closer to 1.5 million DPS to chain this pull down, and it dies within about 30 seconds. Unbelievably clean pull from Sin Spellbook. They've got almost all their count. The boss will be spawning momentarily, and it looks like they're about to cruise to a 2-0 victory.
Yeah, very cool. We're also seeing the same tack from I Do It. For them, it's Shindig who's actually trying to pull those packs back, then shadow melding them off and rejoining the team with that Wernstone. Love to see that tiny little min-maxing from her teams, and here comes I Do It trying to do that same massive pull. One cage is being used
they're
on
fucked.
the right-hand
This guy's
side
gonna get
on
knocked
that
off.
Initiate, but
They tanked him
Spellbook
so far.
is
Or did they
much
rescue him?
faster here. There's no death
Did they rescue him?
differential this
Yeah, they do.
time,
Nice.
but they're look at that rescue. I was trying to figure out how we're gonna come back for
Very
this
good, very
DK.
good.
There's a couple of ways you can get back on the platform, but DK usually doesn't have a huge jump ability, so cool rescue tech from Sen Spellbook on the left-hand side there as well.
Yeah, that was super clean. The only other thing they could have done is give him the Wernstone.
And now they have a
before the
Wernstone too,
facts,
so
and then
I guess they
the
just
Wernstone
don't
the
want to
second
have
he
to
got
deal with kiting the
picked
guy.
up, but
Interesting.
they don't have the Wernstone, and they're already off the platform. That's the
Yep,
only
so the
other
lock
way.
and
Now, that
port-
option isn't available for them for the rest of the fight now.
Lock and port,
Until
monk
rescue
and
comes
port,
back
so
up.
they only have
It's
to
okay,
save the
they don't need
DK.
a
It's on
Lock, he can
Loon,
just
he can
port.
just port.
That's
He's
easy.
fine.
Shelly will probably give the Wernstone to whoever gets it next, if I had to imagine, so that they have a
Wernstone's
way
so
of getting out
OP.
of that. But they're only going to get a couple.
Yeah, we're
more
watching
before the
MDI,
end of
it's
the
lit.
fight. And honestly, at this point, they could afford a death. They are so far ahead, 50% ahead on the boss
Don't call it.
from I Do It.
I don't know about that.
Well, they're pretty far ahead,
A
Mix.
death would be pretty bad. That's 15 seconds, sir.
Yeah, but 50% of a boss, that's over a minute, Mix. They're so far ahead right now.
They are, but they would lose a lot of damage as well, right?
It's on Dan again.
It is on Dan this time. Activate Wernstone. Doesn't even
Okay,
care. Is
Wernstone.
immediately back with that group. Now, Wernstone has
So broken.
also been used here as well.
And they can rescue
don't
still.
need to deal with much more of these. I think one more for sure, and then maybe that last one we can try to ignore and just nuke boss instead. But very, very fast pace from Sen Spellbook in this Sky Reach. I'm just looking up the
Fucking
one
kill
we
yourself?
saw
Nah.
from Mandatory earlier. They
On
ended
the
this
MDI,
dungeon
dude.
on 12:55, which
We
is
just watched.
arguably even faster than what we're seeing here. But Sen Spellbook
There we go,
is going
Sen
to
Spellbook 2-0.
close that book 2-0
2-0.
for them.
There
Pretty
it
big
is.
lead there,
Sen
too.
Spellbook cleaned up their play from
They had
yesterday.
like 45 seconds on him.
Innovative strats in that Sky Reach. They take the series
Not
2-0,
bad.
and they will be moving on to face Polish Mountain in our lower finals. Even so, I have no regrets for cheering on I Do It. This will be the last we see of them this season in the MDI, but I hope that they'll be back in future seasons as well. Now, Zyro, this series might be over, but let's go ahead and take a look at the map. What were our team's approaches like on this one?
You know, it's interesting because I feel like the approaches on both of these maps were pretty similar. It was just a matter of Sen Spellbook being more clean in their gameplay and in general having better damage. Like even just on the single target boss damage, it seemed like that we're generally just a little bit faster. I do think I Do It played well today. I don't think there's anything that they can feel bad about. They played probably the best that we've seen all weekend, but unfortunately, Sen Spellbook was just better.
They were. I mean, overall, I think that play just put them ahead. And so with that in mind, we'll have Dranos even take a look at this map as well in our last one of the series.
Yeah, I mean, again, you could see from that graph that they just slowly were pulling ahead throughout that mid part of the dungeon. Those spikes end up getting a little bit further and further in Sen Spellbook's favor. Nothing huge going wrong.
I would
for
assume
either
it's a
team.
huge
This
time
is a map
commitment.
that was
Yeah, the
defined
PvEers
by,
go hard,
you know,
man.
the
They have a lot of
object here
they
there for
grind
both
crazy
teams.
hard.
We had this one actually early on. The first blood in the map was claimed against Sen Spellbook here. So you can see on this first boss as it gets pulled. And then watch carefully here. As the Gale Surge comes out. And that one ends up, it looks, so you can see there's those two puddles on the ground. And then the knockback, it looked like hitting both of them. Ended up taking out Roybin there. We had a couple of deaths, though, over for the side of I Do It as well, with the Dreadwind knocking the Evoker off and the Glide not quite being enough to get back on the platform there. So those sorts of things were little mistakes going on, but I don't want to focus too much on the mistakes made by either team here, because yes, the run wasn't perfect from either team. But it was very good. It was very good from both teams. It was certainly an impressive run. It's unfortunate for I Do It. They looked a lot better than they did yesterday. Just unfortunately not quite good enough to stack up to what Send Spellbook were able to do. This pull they were able to execute safely to the end of the dungeon. And just nice little bits of tech being used. You know, we talk a lot about the different ways that teams can dodge having to kill the ad during the last boss fight. Talk a lot about abilities like Wernstone. There's also just good old rescue here, which you can do. You know, you see here, DK just getting dropped off over the edge, and then the rescue back on, no problem. So if your Wernstone's on cooldown, if you've got it on a different person, something like that's going on, you can always just use the rescue. A couple of other class abilities that will get you back on as well. None of them are as 100% consistent as that Wernstone can be, but all of them are very valuable to know what you can do so that you don't actually have to switch targets. And yeah, that's how Send Spellbook ended up taking the series here.
I love seeing it.
Now, the question is Send Spellbook going to get fucking
it goes to show,
smoked?
right? Every run, even if
by,
things are a little messy or there are some accidents or things, whatever it might be, there's still something to take away from it. And I think both
Polish.
of these teams really
That's the
did
question.
give us a lot to take away
That's
from
the
these
question.
runs. Send Spellbook a little bit more, which is why they'll be moving on. And it was great to see them pull off some of those impressive plays, but they're going to need to pull off even more against their next opponents. So, Makes, can you give us the current standing of our Group A bracket?
Yeah, so Mandatory is waiting in the final matchup. That one is going to be a best of 5, which also means we'll see even more spec bans than
See
we
about
have
this on
yet
Twitter?
in
No,
any
what
of
is
the
it?
series. We're really curious on how teams
I
going
get
to
paid for
navigate
what
that.
the right?
Before
I don't
we
know
go
what they
there,
did. I have no
we're gonna be
idea
seeing
what the
our
drama
lower
is.
bracket final, and Polish Mountain had been.
Isn't that guy
waiting
already
there
like a
ever
multi-millionaire? He's getting more money.
Now Send Spellbook, we're basically not giving them a whole lot of break time to be ready for
Oh. The esports anti-cheat doxed him? That's so fried. What the fuck? That's a little unhinged.
will be the team that makes it to the season
Not for El
finals
Clasico, yeah.
and BlizzCon.
There are 4 groups. This is Group A, but there are 4 groups.
Teams have cited BlizzCon as being a huge motivating factor for them this season, and like no surprise, I think we're all super excited for it and can't wait ourselves. But before we get to our next series, those lower finals that we're going to see, we have a little game to play here, everybody. The mini games are back, and this time it is Something Ain't Right. This is the one, if you saw it yesterday, where we have to take a look at a map from a dungeon here in Azeroth, and then we have to try to guess what is wrong with it.
Something ain't right.
Is there something missing? Are the trash packs wrong? Are there no bosses? It could be any number of things. So everybody keep your eyes peeled, and we'll get a look at today's dungeon and see if
You mean
we
your
can
mom's
spot
hurt?
what's wrong.
Oh, fuck.
All right. So it's going to be an Algathar Academy.
Okay, I
that
have an
we
idea.
Start off with. Go
Oh,
ahead.
right away.
I think the colors are incorrect potentially on the buff area at the start. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
they are.
that the black dragon
Yeah.
is on the first spot, right? And I only know this because that's the only one I always click.
Yeah, black dragon's on the right.
I'm
bronze is
sorry,
on the left.
but if I think
Right.
that's it.
Red is
You're totally
far
right.
blue is middle left, and green is.
Are
far
those
left.
icons
That's
wrong?
100% it. You nailed
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I think the different
Question
dragon
is,
fights are
is
wrong.
that the
icons
only
look weird.
thing that's wrong?
Ooh.
I think
like
so. The rest
Yeah,
of this
I
looks
think that's
accurate.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. Seems to be
That
it.
was the easy
Okay.
one, apparently.
All right,
Here
now we
comes
get
the
our
hard
next one,
one.
everybody. That was the warm-up, so get
Or
ready
his
for the real
hamstring?
deal.
Oh, fuck.
Let's see if we can spot the difference on this one. This time it's going to be Nexus Point Zenus, which is spelled totally right. It's totally correct. Right
I
there.
saw it instantly. Okay, well,
So sorry.
well.
I was like, I'll just read the dungeon name. Oh, well. That's maybe just one of the things that might be wrong.
Okay.
Okay,
There's
there's
two
another
things
thing.
wrong on this one.
I mean, I think the spec fans has been interesting. They're like their variety rule. Their variety rule has been interesting. I don't know. I don't know how you would incorporate that into AWC, but I think in general it's been cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see. You're right.
But it might be both. It might be that it's also the names. I don't read names. I'm a melee player. I don't read. So, but I think it's the flare bats on the bridge that
Yeah,
are
they're
missing.
there.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, okay,
There's
is
both
that
of
it?
those.
Are those
There
the
we
right
go, there we
names for
go.
the wings?
Yeah.
Okay. Because
Oh, there we go.
isn't the right boss called Core Spark? So, whatever. You know, if that's all, I'm chill. Okay.
She's
Imagine
four
teams having
warden
Rogue
over on
Band,
the
yeah.
right, Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we need.
And it's a
See,
core
see.
defense. So
Well, we did it, chat. I see a lot of you got it as well. Good job. I see there were little calls there about the tree boss being wrong as well.
We need bans, man.
the
That's just
map,
MDT
so-
has it like in a different spot slightly than where it
okay.
actually lives. Yeah.
There you go, chat. That answers your question. But there are our differences. Good job spotting what wasn't right to all of us and all of you. And we're going to hope that our teams, we're going to be able to spot a lot of things going very right for them, actually, in the next runs, because it is all on the line. Polish Mountain versus Send.
God damn. Guys, it might be time. I might leave now. I was going to wait like half an hour and then go get ready. Because I gotta leave at like, let's see, what time is it? It's 3 o'clock. I gotta leave at like 3:45. I was gonna wait a little bit, but I think I might leave now. Take a shower, get ready for dinner. I think it might be time. Might be time. It's not the same vibe. It's a bit different. It's a bit different. I would say it's... So far, what I've noticed about MDI is the lower teams aren't as exciting to watch. Unfortunately, like it's just a lot. It's noticeably slower. Like the lower seeded teams, are noticeably slower than obviously like Mandatory and Polish Mountain. Whereas obviously in AWC, when you watch a lower seeded team, you know, sometimes you have like crazy upsets and like crazy swings in matches with comps, or like maybe the comp they play is fun, so it's like a fun series to watch. But it's just different, because some of the lower seeded teams had really fun series too, though. So I would say that's the biggest thing that I've noticed from watching this weekend. Is I would say majority of the lower seeded teams are much slower, which makes it less fun. But that doesn't mean that they can't have fun series. They definitely had some fun ones for sure. There were definitely some good ones. Well, shit, dude. Let's see. Who's live? Who can we host? Because, Aya left. Aya fucking left. Oh, Big Mex is live. What's he doing? Oh, Trilly's live. We gotta host Trilly. Trilly hosted us instantaneously the other day. We gotta hit him with a raid. All right. We're in Trilly with a raid, man. We're going to hit the last ad. He's about to get off. Oh my god, is he? Oh, he just hosted Hydra. God damn it. All right, we'll host Hydra too. All right, well, we're going to host Hydra as well. Fuck it. We're hosting Hydra too. All right, we're in the last ad of the stream and then we're out of here. Last ad and then we're out. I appreciate you all. We don't stream Mondays. We'll be back. We'll be back. Should we come back tonight? I'm going to dinner. I'll probably be gone for a few hours. Maybe I come back tonight. We stream some arena. We'll see if Pika wants to play something. And then maybe we do some arena. If not, we'll do something. But I normally don't stream Mondays, so because I don't stream Mondays, I'm usually more I think the idea of double streaming is more appealing, you know? It's more appealing to do a double stream on a Sunday because I don't stream on Mondays. So even though I don't like double streams usually, like I don't like going live, taking a break, and then going live again, it kind of annoys me. It fucks with my brain. Maybe because it's Sunday, we'll do it. Like Sundays are different. So maybe I'll come back tonight. We'll see. No promises. But if you come back tonight, you check Twitch, I might be there. We'll see. All right, we're going to hit Hydra with a raid, and then I'm going to go get ready for dinner. So, guys, once again, happy Mother's Day to all of you watching, all of your moms. If you're a mom, happy Mother's Day to you. Happy Mother's Day to all of your moms and your grandmas and your great-grandmas. And I hope you guys have a great day, rest of your night, rest of your evening, and I'll see you all, if not tonight, then Tuesday. If not tonight, then Tuesday. All right, bye, everybody. Last ad running, and then we host Hydra.